What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strydent, and welcome to another episode of War Stories. Today, me and the guys are going to talk about G.I. Joe in film and TV. We're going to probably go over, I shouldn't say list, but go over our likes, our dislikes, everything from the 86, 87 film and the TV series and the various TV series and all the various movies. And then we're going to kind of talk about vehicles and figures that we love and that we hate, and that, just run the gamut about stuff about G.I. Joe that we really dig that we haven't really had the opportunity to all go over, as a group. I've got Scabcat242 with me. I've got Dumbass Reviewer, also known as D.A.R. I've got ODC, that's me. And of course, you got me, your host, Strydent. And as usual, we're going to go through and tell you guys what's going on, what we like, what we dislike, and everything in between. So I wanted to also tell you guys, please get your questions in on the Q&A video. Get in the comment section. Tell me, whatever, ask me whatever it is you want to ask, and I will definitely have it featured in the big video that I'm working on. So remember, it's the Q&A video. I asked on another video beforehand, and I only got a couple questions in that one. So definitely go into the Q&A video and ask all your questions. Just ask away. If it's something I don't know, I will do my best to research it so I can answer it for you in the video. And if I can't do that, I'll just let you know I can't do it. I don't know. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Looking forward to all the questions. Looking forward to geeking out with you guys in the comments, as we always do. And I think that is it. Oh, expect a couple really cool videos coming up that were kind of surprises, because a question that I asked was actually answered by some people in a position of power that were able to do something. But anyway, here we go. Had these 5 points of articulation having wrestlers, and the heads were on a ball joint, and they were exactly perfectly the perfect size for G.I. Joe pegs. So it just worked out like that. Yeah, I gotta look at some of that stuff. The Indiana Jones stuff too. I saw a lot of people in the community using those heads for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are really good heads. I have quite a few of those.
Yeah, I gotta get into those. Same thing with like the Star Wars ones. It's like really rare that the head and the face works for like a Joe like mold or whatever. But I like Safeguard. I used an Amidala head from the Black Series, like real early. I think it was like the first or second wave of Black Series.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I actually use that head too.
Yeah, it works well. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, you kind of have to fill it with either like
putty or something.
Yeah, putty or like blue tack or something. But it works. It looks good. I can't wait for the freaking Valkyries so that I can upgrade her look and upgrade Lady J's look, the 50th Lady J, because it's like even Scarlet. There's a head that they show on like the prototype female desert trooper, and it looks perfect, like perfect for Scarlet. She's a redhead with a long braid, and there's another one that they show is not wearing much armor. She has like a t-shirt on or something and a cap. I mean, She looks just like Lady J, like the way Lady J looked in Renegades.
Wow.
It was perfect. Yeah. Perfect. I can't wait.
Yeah, I really wish Marauders were selling that stuff like right now. I would totally like buy like a bunch of heads and like other accessories.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually need to do that because of their sale. Just get a bunch of weapons, and they're gonna. I think it's if you do over $35, you get a free figure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But it only lasts until the 17th, so we don't have a whole lot of time, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, I'm actually gonna jump on that sale like tomorrow. I'm just waiting for some money to come through.
Yeah, I know how it is. I'm like
the struggle.
Yeah, exactly. The struggle is real. But so I guess we may as well just jump into our topics, and pretty much we're just gonna free form just talk about G.I. Joe in movies and in cartoons. like the many incarnations and what we liked, what we didn't like, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like everybody's heard me talk about how much I love the toy line of Rise of Cobra, and now the movie is kind of meh. And like I think we can all agree that Duke was kind of the weakest link when it came to that film.
Yeah. Fuck Channing Tatum, man.
He was whack. He just didn't feel. He didn't feel like he was the. I don't know. He didn't feel like Duke. He didn't feel like.
Yeah.
Duke. He just felt like some random dude. I see ODC dropped in. Yay. Nah, Duke was just. He was just too young. He needed to feel seasoned, and we needed to believe that he was the leader. Like this guy could get people out of bad situations, you know. And Channing Tatum did not feel like that character at all.
No, more than anything, he's more should have been like Falcon.
Exactly. Between him and the guy who they chose to play Flint, should have been Falcon.
Yeah. DJ Catrona, like,
Yeah.
God, man.
Yeah, he
Dude, I was
was.
excited for him. Like,
I don't need Falcon in another film. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like I said, imagine. Oh, what? Sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Like, like I'm telling you guys, like, Falcon will be introduced in the next film, and he's gonna have Flint's personality.
I
I'm pretty
know.
sure they're gonna pull that
Oh,
shit.
I would be so mad if they do that.
They're gonna pull that shit. I swear.
But all the fans are gonna say it's awesome.
I know, and that's what
All the
pisses
fans
me
that
off.
don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly.
Like,
Because
the
Falcon's a
fucking
fuck
Snake
up.
Eyes. Like, in the first film of Rise of Cobra, people were pissed at the mouth and Duke taking down Snake Eyes. I was happy when Duke took down Snake Eyes in that training scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like in the cartoon, you know,
But-
what was weird is that like Duke Duke was on par with Snake Eyes, but not in a kung fu-y ninja kind of way. He was just on par because he
Yeah.
was a badass. It wasn't like, you know, I mean, he's boxing people and he's kicking people and he's doing like really perfect karate form and shit. But it wasn't like he was
Yeah.
a ninja. So like they needed to understand like all of them are supposed to be pretty much like on a, I don't want to say even keel. It's just Snake Eyes focuses more on hand-to-hand combat because one of his specialties is CQC. So he needs to be able to look nicer and fancier than the other guys. But, you know, it doesn't mean everyone else should be inept, you know?
yeah. And in retaliation, I'm glad he didn't steal the show.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't stand the Joe fans, you know, saying shit like, who cares about Lady J's real name? Or, I never cared for Flint. Or, Roadblock never interests me. You know, all of our favorite characters that get fucked up, but Snake Eyes, everyone says he's the best part. Like, come on, guys.
Millennials.
Right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, you're not really
Millennials that were born way after G.I. Joe was
off the air, yeah.
So,
What were you,
Like, come on. Like,
what were you about to say,
like-
Kyle? You got lost in the shuffle. My bad.
what?
No, Kyle was saying something. He started saying something, and we all were like, "Rah!" And then he got kind of drowned out.
No, I was gonna say like you're not a real true GI Joe fan if Roadblock and Lady J don't interest you. You're
Exactly.
focused on Snake Eyes.
Yeah. It's like, you know, people.
Yeah.
I always asked that question when I was in the community. I was like, of all the Joes, like, why is it everyone has to underperform so that Snake Eyes can look good? If Snake Eyes is so good, why don't we just have the Snake Eyes show and then have the Joes in a separate show? You know what I mean? Like, they're part of a team. You got to have them all have their strengths, and then, you know, everyone can do their thing. I mean, that was the whole point. That's why, as a kid, we read the file cards, and we learned from the file cards, this guy is good at this. You know, this guy is good at that. This girl is good at that. You can't just have Snake Eyes good at everything and everybody else sucks. Then what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
well, the original Snake Eyes wasn't even a
He
fucking
wasn't a ninja.
ninja master.
Yeah, he just
He was
had
just a
ninja
fucking
training.
commando.
The
Exactly.
commando.
But most people didn't read those comics. No matter what they say, when you talk to them,
Oh, they're ignorant.
they didn't.
They're ignorant.
They didn't read those comics, and they don't want to admit it. So to sound like they know what they're talking about, they, you know, they say, you know, this is what's going on. Yeah, I read the comics, but yeah, it's not true. Obviously, yeah, it's weird. I mean, and I'll give Retaliation that much. Some of that they got right in their characterization of Snake Eyes, like the best scene in the movie when Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow face off. Storm Shadow's flinging all those shuriken at him, and he's popping them out of the air with the Uzi. It's like, That's exactly what he would probably do. He's not going to sit there and try to go ninja to ninja. He's going to find the like military way to deal with ninja shit. You know, it's just that he can still hang with the ninjas. You know, somebody in one of my videos on when we were talking about, I think OG13 mentioned that the best characterization is that Snake Eyes is like a rugged ninja. Like he won't do the fanciest shit, but he'll do like the military tactic with like rugged, ninja type shit added into it. You know what I mean? So it won't look as pretty as Storm Shadow, who should look. I mean, his name is the last name. His last name is the name of the damn clan. So the guy needs to be like amazing in battle. You know what I mean? Fucking Storm Shadow. That is his fucking name. His code name and his last name.
He always gets his ass kicked in the films, even the second one. Like, what the fuck?
He should, in my opinion, he should own Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Snake Eyes should win because he cheats. The way Batman can't beat Bronze Tiger without cheating, or he can't beat Deathstroke without leveling the playing field in some way, that should be the way Snake Eyes wins. Like, he collapsed part of the building on him or something, or, he pulls out a gun and starts spraying, and Snake Eyes, or Storm Shadow has to leave. Shit like that.
Yeah.
But, I think too much of the cast was too young. Too much of the cast was too pretty. Too much of the cast was too heavy on the comedy. Like, they chose people who excel at comedy as opposed to choosing people who excel at action and then, working the comedy in there. Because, I mean, if you time it right, the comedy parts are simple. Especially with the Joes, it's all situational stuff. You know what I mean? So the audience would get that.
And they made G.I. Joe too hip, or they're trying too hard to be cool in Retaliation. Like all that, like Call of Duty shit, one in the chamber. Like, what the fuck was that, man? Like, or that dialogue between Duke and Mouse. Nice shooting, Tiny Tim. All that Wii combat shooter is finally paying off, sir. Like, what the fuck was that?
Why did we need a Brendan Fraser cameo? Why was that a thing?
Hey, I thought that was cool.
He begged to play that. He wanted to be. He was supposed to be Gung Ho. That's who he wanted to play.
Yeah. What?
He wanted to be Gung Ho. Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't want him to be Gung Ho. They didn't want Gung Ho in the movie. I would have just redesigned him.
Oh, when I first saw the cameo, I thought he was Flint before Heavy Duty said his name. I thought that was Flint with the beret and everything. I was like, shit, Brendan Fraser was Flint. And then when he said, "Yo, Sergeant Stone," I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
I remember when I saw in that movie, I was like, wow, he must be desperate after, he's getting no more money for the Mummy Returns movies.
Yeah. They said there's a good video online about why they don't cast him anymore. Because apparently he's not very easy to work with. And there's a lot of other reasons too. But I don't know, I think he would have fit.
He's got personal issues.
Yeah. He would have fit in G.I. Joe. He just needs to be I would have had him be like Shipwreck or something, like somebody who's supposed to, because he's funny, like, dude.
Yo, for a minute when he rolled up in that 4x4, I thought he was gonna be fucking Sergeant Slaughter. I was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no! And then when they said Sergeant Stone, I heard Sergeant. I was like, "Oh my god!" My heart skipped a beat, and then I was like, "Stone." I was like, "Okay."
That would have been hilarious. Could you imagine all walking Eddie's disease?
I know, right? I'm gonna whip you into shape.
Look at me,
and I'm talking whip. Oh my god! Yeah, man, that would have been bad. That would have been real bad.
But I remember Dwayne Johnson. He was supposed to be Shipwreck in Rise of Cobra. It was supposed to be during the underwater scene with the polar sharks and shit.
What?
Like something like that.
Wow, that would have been.
That's what I've heard.
That would have been different.
They should have had Copperhead on there.
Yeah, There's a lot of Joes.
Half the shit was underwater.
Yeah, they had a lot of Joes Joes and Cobras, like scenes that you could have used them, because I mean, you don't really need to do anything more than either drop their name and show them, or have them piloting their vehicle of choice. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of shit, think about, we had 2 movies and we've only seen, a handful of actual Joe vehicles. I mean, you saw the Hiss, and you've seen
Night Raven.
The Night Raven, and then the Rock Slide. The Rock Slide, and then the other stuff is all specific to Rise of Cobra. like, or Retaliation. You know what I mean? Like the Ghost Hawk too. That's not a Ghost Hawk.
Yeah.
It was a big ass plane. The Ghost Hawk's supposed to be that little helicopter body looking thing, and we never saw that. Like, it's weird. Like they spend so much time redesigning and reimagining, and they still haven't gotten it right. Just like we were saying about Batman. Everybody wants to do their version of, but they've yet to get the character right on screen. I mean, the closest they've done is what we just got. You know?
Yeah. On top of that, they killed off Cover Girl, and like no one even mourned it. They were just like, whatever.
Wow.
I know
Just
it's
fucking
it's
stabbed right through the chest, and
I
no one
know.
gave a shit.
Well, it happened like that. Something like that happened in the comics too. So I know because I was just reading through the Marvel run. Because I have the whole thing, and I've been going back and forth to try to find like the stuff that stands out, and then I'm gonna sit down and read everything. I think I've read like the first 15 all the way through, and then I'm skipping around. But yeah, there is a panel where Zartan does stab CoverGirl through the chest, just like that, with a weird looking knife or sword or something. But yeah, stuff was out of context in that movie. Like,
Well, I didn't mind that they killed her off. I think it was just like the fact that they didn't even like
no
bring
one
it
cared.
up after.
Yeah, no one cared.
No one gave a shit.
Well, and then like the fact that General Hawk was kind of a buster in the movie. Like he didn't like fight at all. I mean, he got attacked by. He just sat there and got cut across the chest, and then just like got punched in the face, and it's done. I'm like, General Hawk is Solid Snake. Like, he's the shit.
Yeah.
Like he should be able to handle himself against. I mean, maybe not win, but he should be getting some hits in there, so we can tell Joes are the shit. They're not supposed to be just lame. Like you can't just walk in the room and bitch slap a Joe. Like, that just doesn't happen. But once again, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Like, where's Alley Viper? I would have definitely had Alley Viper in Rise of Cobra. Oh my god, he would have fit perfectly.
Why was Jonathan Pryce shoved down our throat in the second movie so much? There was
'cause-
no Zartan in that entire movie.
No, because he was
when it
Zartan. He's still Zartan.
I understand that, but I mean, Jonathan Pryce is. I mean, he's not a great actor. It's not like he deserved to be in the fucking 90% of the film.
Well, I think he's a great
It's
actor.
over
He's-
the actor that played Zartan.
He's better. He's a better actor than Arnold Vosloo, but the point was that the character, and I think also they were trying to dodge the fact that they didn't get Arnold Vosloo to come back, so they were like, let's just keep the actor who, you know what I mean, who Zartan is, the character Zartan is supposed to be impersonating, which is the president. Let's just give that guy more screen time. He did a good job. He was one of the better things in Retaliation.
The whole Fort
Yeah.
Sumter meeting.
Yeah. That shit was hilarious, man. When he's like, we are now at nuclear war, and he just pulls out his phone and starts playing Angry Birds. I was like, wow. Wow. Like, yeah, that was one of the better scenes. I just thought, overall, though, the movie was just so, ugh. What was in Rise of Cobra, what were things you guys dug? Like, things you liked?
All the references, Kung Fu grip, like hair, knowing's half the battle,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I fucking hate that music reference. John Chu pulled that shit in Retaliation,
Yeah, the
I love
Jay-Z.
the black. It's very Johnny Cash. Or drive it like you stole it in the immortal words of Jay-Z.
Oh god, I hated
Yeah.
that. I
Fucking hated that.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just have them rhyme?
I know.
God damn it!
Like, and what else?
And the fucking Rock suggested that shit too. Cause, I got a good Jay-Z quote.
Fuck the
Fucking
Rock.
cheese whiz.
Okay, what'd you like?
Not a lot, but
There had to be something. Come on.
I like the vehicles. I
Yeah.
love the vehicles. I love the acceleration suits too. That's very.
It's
G.I.
weird.
Joe.
A lot of people don't like them, and I don't think they're that bad.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bad either. It's that's GI Joe though.
Well,
That's
no,
something
it's
they would
even
do.
modern military with exosuits and exoskeletal frames and shit. Like, that's future tech that they're starting to use now. So, like, G.I. Joe was always near future tech. Like, that's the point. I mean,
Yeah.
Cobra was full on future, but G.I. Joe has always had experimental or like concept versions of shit. Yeah, I don't get the hate for those. What else? You want to go down the line? So you gave one. What about you, Steven?
Wait, did I just bring it up already?
Oh yeah, he said the quotes.
Oh, you
Oh,
like
yeah,
the quotes. Oh, okay.
There was a lot.
He said the quotes. I said the vehicles. And
What about
Oh,
you,
there
Kyle?
was well, Retaliation. I did like how the Joes were working together. It's just the problem is
We're doing Rise of Cobra first. So
Okay, Rise of Cobra
we'll all
first.
give
Okay.
points for Rise of Cobra. What about you, Kyle? What'd you like in Rise of Cobra?
With Rise of Cobra, I would probably say I did like that one scene where the pit got ambushed by Cobra.
Yeah,
oh yeah, the training scene I like,
yeah,
but it was just a missed opportunity. It
Yeah.
would have been better if they just shove our throats down with so many Joes as possible.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
yeah. That would have at
Yeah,
least
how do you?
it would have
You still haven't
redeemed
even
it.
seen Beachhead yet.
Yeah, which makes no sense. You know,
Thank God. Thank God.
You know how
Or
easy that would have
Stalker,
been.
man.
But you,
Thankful.
it would have been
Wasn't
so easy for them to put Beachhead in a film. He wouldn't even have to say anything. Just have him.
Yeah, but would you have really wanted him in these films though?
No,
They would
no,
have ruined
no,
it.
no. I mean, they would have done. I mean, they wouldn't have done any better than they did with everybody else. So
Exactly. So I'm just glad he wasn't even in the film. Just don't put him in it.
But no, it's surprising though that like a guy in a fucking balaclava is not in the movie. There wasn't one Joe in a balaclava,
I think that.
except for Snake Eyes, which is just weird. The stuff I liked, I'll say I liked the idea behind the way the pit was set up, and you saw all those like, I mean, it was like thousands of Joes in there, even though they never name dropped most of those guys.
Yeah.
You got to see like the full scale. It was just like in the original, like the Revenge of Cobra or Pyramid of Darkness, one of the two first Joe miniseries. In the intro, they show you the Joe training facility, and you see Joe's flipping and shit, like stalkers, like flipping through this giant jungle gym maze looking thing.
Yeah.
Freaking
yeah.
blowtorches burning down some big old like target or something. You saw the Joes doing shit, you know, so you got to understand like these guys are not typical military. I keep saying that so that people listening that don't understand will get it, because I don't know how often you have to explain. I've heard so many people say, I like my Joes more grounded in reality. I'm like, which G.I.
That's
Joe?
boring though.
But which G.I. Joe? Which G.I. Joe is grounded in reality? The ones with jetpacks or laser guns? Like, which G.I. Joe are we talking about? The ones where the coil is a cult that freaking prays to Serpentor and Cobra La is the heaven that he came from? Like, it's all phony. Like, it's supposed to be. Even Larry Hama goes out of his way to name them in ways that, like, there's no possible way that there's some guy in real life with this military designation and the name that fits the designation perfectly. You know, like, come on, guys. Like, that's fake. It's supposed to be. But I try to drive that point home to people because I don't know how many times I hear G.I. Joe and grounded in reality in the same sentence. And I'm like, really? So the United States military will let a guy carry a sword into battle? Really? Like, they're going to hire ninjas with no name, no background, no nothing, and be like, dude, fight for our country. And the ninja will sign on the dotted line, ninja, and fight for our country? Come on, guys. Like, that's not grounded in reality. Come on.
Yeah, like superheroes in general. Like, how can you say superheroes and reality at the same time? Like,
I mean,
what the fuck?
we need them. I won't lie. We need them.
Yeah, we need them. Yeah,
when
I get
people
that.
when
but
people fuck up and don't do what they're supposed to do, somebody needs to make those folks, especially like, you know,
We need the Punisher.
yeah, we need a Punisher in real life, a Punisher, or Batman, or something. But I'm just, you know, still, it's not real life, you know. But
Yeah.
I dug the training, the pit facility, that was dope. I dug the reimagining of some of the Cobra troops. I just wish we still had the blue shirts in there too.
And Vipers, like the Chrome Mask Vipers.
Yeah, like the Vipers were, the fact that they were so armored that like even shotgunning them at close range wouldn't do the job. Like, that was
Yeah.
awesome because it makes sense. It's like they should be heavy. There should be heavies that like can deal with stuff. And they made the basic troopers, the basic Vipers, freaking like heavies. Like, you couldn't just take them out with standard artillery, you know, which was pretty cool. Like Cobra seemed pretty damn powerful. It was crazy. The what else? I don't know. I liked the fact that someone else was vying for Scarlet, and they didn't just say, "Oh, that's Snake Eyes territory. Stay away." Like she was some kind of undiscovered country or some shit, or some you know, some previously discovered country by Snake Eyes, so we all gotta, this is Snake Eyes land, stay away from it. Like, it was kind of cool that somebody else was like, fuck Snake Eyes, I'm gonna go after the chick. And he almost, I guess, according to the movie, he kind of succeeded. But, yeah, there was a lot. There was so much that didn't work. Oh, I liked Storm Shadow. I still think Storm Shadow was cool. He needs a stunt double like a motherfucker, though. Like Steven was mentioning about Kane Kosogi, they need him to stunt double for Byun Hai Lee, because Byun Hai Lee is a good fighter, but he's the wrong fighter for the job. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look like a ninja. He fights like a lot grimier than ninjas would typically fight, and ninjas do fight kind of dirty. But you need the polish that Kane Kosogi. Kane Kosogi, Sho Kosogi, and Shane Kosogi they're ninjas. It's a family of ninjas, like real life ninjas. Every ninja thing you've ever seen. Ninja Assassin, even Rain, the guy, B. Rain, that played Raizo in Ninja Assassin, he would have been a dope Storm Shadow because he actually got trained by a whole bunch of different ninjas. Pretty much everything you see in Hollywood that has a ninja in it, if they use real ninja techniques, they were trained or it was advised by Sho Kosogi. That's his job. That's what he does. That's his thing he's been doing for like over 40 years. Like, that's his thing. But, or 30 some odd years, maybe more. Actually, it is 40 because he was doing that shit since like the 70s. But, they needed a ninja. They didn't need John Chu's version of a ninja. They needed real fucking ninjas to advise them because that's what I wanted to see, man. But yeah, I don't know. There's not that much you can say other than like the movie was meh, but the toys were freaking awesome.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
The toys and the impact.
Yeah, the toys were awesome. And it's funny because it set the stage for all the good shit that Hasbro started to do. And then, Retaliation shows up and it's like, from the delay, that first delay, or pushback, whatever you want to call it, it was downhill from there. Because Retaliation had a couple...
people either forgot or they didn't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, it fucked up Hasbro's relationship with all the different retailers. That's why Toys R Us is the only place that you find Joe's now.
Like, yeah, and I should have, like, if I was in control, the whole movie pushed back, give us, 2012, we ended up with nothing. Only people who got lucky with the first wave of figures.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I did, like, I got the Joe Trooper, the Storm Shadow, Concept Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
The Concept Duke, and Concept Cobra Commander, and Renegade Zartan. Like,
yeah, I think the first, in 2012, I found a bunch of stuff. I think I didn't really find the majority of mine until the following year. Because remember, then they decided to just put some of that shit out anyway. Like the Joe Troopers, actually all of Wave 1 managed to show up.
Yeah. Like I said, they should have given us all the concept bullshit of 2012, and then by the time the actual movie released, just give us all the movie accurate figures.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like keep us a little busy, and then give us all the movie accurate shit. Because, like, come on, like once I got home watching the movie, none of the toys looked like the movie, and I was like, this is bullshit.
Well, yeah, especially after how closely they followed the movie with Rise of Cobra. Like, I mean, they surpassed what you saw in the film. I mean, they gave you everything that you saw in the film, just about. I mean, I can only think of maybe... No, and you said there was one of the Vipers that I thought I didn't see in there, the Viper Commando. He was on screen.
Oh, yeah.
He was on screen for like a real hot second, which was crazy. I was like, holy shit, they're actually in the movie.
Yeah.
They gave you everything. I mean, I can't really think of a vehicle that was in the movie. Oh, the whatever their transport vehicle was, that big silver bird, the big silver plane.
Oh, yeah. The Ghost Hawk 1, I'm going to assume that.
I know, right? Yeah,
assume it is.
Yeah, that was the only thing they didn't give us in toy form. Everything else, bikes, freaking ATVs, the Rock Slide, the freaking Steel Crusher, the
Mantis, Polar Shark.
Yeah, all that shit. Even though the Polar Shark came out in Canada and not here, it still came out.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
And that's weird. How and why? just because it's polar or something. I don't know, because it's a I don't know. I don't understand what that goof was, how they messed that up. But okay.
And the only figure that we didn't get was the reactive impact armor breaker. That was it.
Yeah. Very true. Okay, so Retaliation. What did you guys dig in Retaliation? Because we all hate the
Cobra
movie.
Commander,
Oh my god, yes.
that sexy costume, which we were supposed to get a toy in that Amazon exclusive.
And they never did it.
Fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that shit. What else? What else, guys?
The Joes working together, but the problem with that was I don't want to talk about the problems, but it's just like a lot of people say stuff like
Wait up.
everyone look.
Save your thought. Save your thought for the dislike part.
I'll save it. Okay.
What about
What
you
else is
guys?
good
What
in
about
there?
you guys? Anthony.
Ray Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson. Oh yeah, Ray Stevenson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Firefly. He wasn't bad at all. Yeah, he wasn't bad. I still think he's a better Punisher than like anything else. But still, he was all right. He was beating the shit out of Roadblock,
Yeah,
man.
he beat the fuck out of him.
That was awesome.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow.
Put the Rock in his place, fucking bitch.
Cobra livers everywhere. That was cool.
Yeah, like on the White House. Like that was some comic book movie shit. Like, that was taken. I mean, it makes sense, but it was like shit we've seen in comics. I'm almost surprised that they went for the helmeted Cobra Commander look and never once used the hood. Like, you think of all the low budget looks that are in G.I. Joe, you know, that are standard military or something very simple costume wise that you could do, and they overcomplicated every design. Like the blue shirts, we still didn't see blue shirts. Instead, we got urban camo special forces for Cobra.
The combat ninja, like the toy says.
It was so stupid, and that was even dumb because in the show or in the movie they were called the Cobra Special Forces. So, you know, you could even take it as they're not the standard Joe or Cobra troopers. They're special forces operatives for Cobra, hence the name, which would be cool, you know. But where were the blue shirts at, man? Because even the guys that weren't all geared up had the same urban camo look, which didn't make much sense. What about you, Kyle? What'd you like?
I did like that one scene right after when Cobra Commander got out of that facility where he's at that base. There's that whole operations, and he's there with Firefly and Zartan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, when they were developing whatever.
The hiss.
Yeah.
The hiss and the freaking the giant tungsten rod gun thing. The space rod gun. Yeah, that was funny. The one dude, there was that scene with the one trooper that was like, "You're probably gonna get a kick out of this. Guess what the code name is? It's Hiss." I was like, "Are you serious?" High Speed Sentry. I'm like, ah. But it was kind of funny though. It fit, you know. Yeah, Cobra Commander was amazing in that movie. Even though his voice was so.
He should have been more. He should have had more screen time. Than Zartan.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What was the voice actor who did the voice for Cobra Commander in Resolute? They should have got him.
That was Charlie Adler. Yeah, they should
have voices over his voice.
I always wondered about that. Why is there no crossover between, like, when we were kids and they did movies based on, you know, children's properties, they would always have some type of crossover from the cartoon to the film. Why is it now there's like a distinct separation? So it's like everybody who worked on the cartoon, you get no love in the film world. None whatsoever. Like, we're not even going to try to put you in there. I don't understand what that's about.
No Larry Hall cameo, no nothing.
Yeah, like, what is that? Like, why? Doesn't make any damn sense. They very well should have had things like, you know, some of the voice, like if you could voice act, if someone was a voice actor, you could have them voice over and play the same character, you know, that they would voice in the freaking cartoon. It would have worked.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Transformers. It was like only Peter Cullen got to be a voice actor, and then I think in one of the movies they had Frank Welker voice Megatron, but at that point nobody gave a shit because it was practically a cameo. Megatron's like my favorite Transformer, and it was like weird that he was a cameo in a Transformers movie. You know what I mean? Like I think it was the second to last one. But anyway, Cobra Commander was a badass. What else would you like, Anthony? What else did you like in Retaliation?
Well, I mean, I really liked Cobra Commander's design. It was, I guess, I would say a good. His mask, at least, it was. I would say, I really liked the mask. A lot of people don't like the mask, but it kind of reminded me of the Crake Cobra Commander mask a little bit.
Yep.
A mixture with the traditional Cobra Commander mask.
Yeah.
So I dug that. I mean, I liked Cobra Commander. I just wish he would have actually had a fight scene.
Really?
You know what I mean? To make him a little bit more tactical, I guess. Maybe a little bit more.
Maybe a gunfight.
He just kind of stood around and just said stuff.
I mean, that's what he's always done until Crate.
I know, but
until Crate.
In the comics, though, he's a little bit more hands on.
That's true.
So I mean, I would have liked a little bit more, but maybe I would just. I don't know. I really like the Crate Cobra Commander, so I think maybe I was just rooting for that. But
yeah.
I don't think we'll be getting that anytime soon.
Oh, you never know. You never know. That seems like something they could do and that they would do if they're constantly trying to update shit, you know?
Yeah. I really liked Firefly. I thought they did that character some justice and gave him a little bit more screen time because he didn't really have that much screen time in the old cartoons.
He was in like one episode. I can name 2 episodes.
And he was like in the background a couple.
And it's weird. He's that kind. But that's who he's supposed to be. That's why
he's actually in the G.I. Joe film. He's driving Cobra Commander in the Arctic scene. He's the driver. He's in it for like 2 seconds. Doesn't even barely. You have to like pause it to see him.
Do they name him? Is he named in the credits?
I don't think he doesn't have a speaking. He doesn't have a speaking part, but he's driving Cobra Commander, and I believe. Oh no, he's driving with Cobra Commander, and Dr. Mindbender is driving the. What's that called? I forgot. It's got 3 wheels.
Oh, the stun.
Yes.
Oh, you mean in the original movie? Yeah.
Yeah, the 86, 87 movie.
I thought you were talking about Rise of Cobra. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? A star?
Sorry, I know. 3 movies I should have specified.
I was like, what? I missed all this. A stun and what? The Mindbender? Like, what? Okay, yeah, you're right. He is in there. I remember seeing him when they first get into Cobra Law and all that shit. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
What else did I like? So Firefly, Cobra Commander. I don't know. There's not really much else. To be honest.
What did you like the mountain scene?
Flint was flat. I mean, I'll get to that with the
dislikes.
Those were my likes, I guess.
So what about no one liked the big mountain battle in the temple and stuff?
Sorry, the ninja vibe, I don't know. It was
a little overdone.
It was so heavy oriented on the toy line, I just didn't really care.
Yeah.
It was like they were trying too hard for that scene.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, it was cool. I thought it was cool, but...
Yeah, it is cool, but it's just... I didn't care.
Yeah, no, I agree. All I cared about was the fight between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes on the inside. And then when they fell out the window, I was like, okay, now you done failed. You couldn't figure out how to end the fight, that you wouldn't offend anybody. So they just were like, okay, have Snake Eyes win and have Jinx come and help. And it was just like, But I will say, for me, the only thing I liked was that portion of the movie. That was like the best thing. That's where they spent all their money. That's where they spent all their time. That's where all the talent went. Everything else was just weird. The casting was all weird. It was all fucked up. I did like some stuff that wasn't probably meant to be funny. Like when Bruce Willis was like, shut your mouth, Brenda. I was like, what? Where was this coming from? This whole, like, disrespectful, like, I hate women type deal. Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember Joe Colton being, like, a disrespectful prick. Like, I remember him being the guy everybody looks up to because he's the fucking model Joe. I mean, I know he didn't always listen to authority.
That's because it was Bruce Willis being Bruce Willis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what killed it. I was so against that shit when I saw the trailer. I was so against it.
I didn't know how to feel. I just felt because it's Bruce Willis and he's been doing action movies for a long time, that at least he'd be capable. But then they didn't really make him do anything. So it almost felt like he was just in there because of his name. But
yeah, like the Expendables, you know. He's
yeah,
just kind of there.
he did do the same thing in the Expendables. But no, I liked kind of those random moments that were in there, like that scene was funny. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been, but it was kind of funny. And I liked Jonathan Pryce. I felt like a lot of times I would have turned the movie off. I probably would have walked out if some other actor was playing the president and couldn't sell those scenes the way he did. Because dude felt like he was having fun being the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of actors always say it's more fun to play the villain. And you could tell he was having more fun with it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to play the villain.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've heard...
It's easy to be hated.
to be hated, to be the heel.
Yeah.
I think it's a perspective thing, because that's what people say about comic book characters, too. They're like, I hate the good guys. Why do you just hate the good guys? There's some interesting good guys out there. But the villains, most villains do the same shit. Either they want to rule the world and they're just crazy, or they don't realize that they're the bad guy. You know, the best villains don't realize that they're the bad guy. Their rationale is, this is what I have to do. It's not that it's good or it's bad. It's like, this is what I have to do. And, you know, I'm just going to do it. It's a means to an end. And then in the process, they've become the bad guy. Like the Punisher is a good example, because he started out as a villain, and then people became sympathetic to his situation, so they started to write him as an anti-hero instead of just a straight-up villainous hitman. And that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't realize that, I guess, in doing what he was doing, he was actually kind of going about it the wrong way. And, you know, but he's become a really cool character in the process, though. I'll give him that.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Sorry, I had to do
Wow, that was so random.
I had to, because he brought up from, you know,
Yeah,
from
point
their
of view.
perspective.
Yeah.
But one of the worst lines I've ever heard to justify something.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was pretty
In the
bad.
most whiny tone ever. So,
But,
it had to be that.
Another thing I liked in Retaliation was Mouse.
Really?
Because
I hated that motherfucker. I was like, where did he come from?
They said he was like 18 years old in there, and I don't want to use this word, but I felt relatable, because if I was in the Joe team, I would have died as well. So.
No, I don't
would have
know.
died as well.
I don't buy it.
Like-
I don't buy it because, like I said, well, I guess in that universe, that makes sense. But in the real, like, the real Jokers, in
The real G.I. Joe.
in actual G.I. Joe, if he was 18 and he got into the Joes, he would be a prodigy in something. So there's no way he would just go out into a random... They weren't even fighting Cobra and he got killed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if... Because he didn't... I don't think he even came... Did he come back from the first mission?
I don't think so.
Because I don't think he came back. Did he?
He came back, and then
so
he died.
He died
if
in
you
that...
watch the extended cut, well, the theatrical cut, they didn't show him back.
That's what I'm
but
saying,
in
yeah. They never tell you
Yeah.
what happened in the... And I don't even remember him much in the extended cut.
In the extended cut, when the Joes were like, when that base was getting killed, they showed Mouse for like a quick second getting killed.
Wow.
Roadblock was like shouting his name or whatever.
Wow. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Mouse was from Sergeant Savage, right?
I don't know where he came from. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think he was from Sergeant
yeah,
Savage
he was
and the Screaming
there.
Eagles.
But there was
he
wasn't the mouse on Sergeant Savage still a big ass dude? like
Yeah, he was huge. He was like,
Yeah.
fucking... I think he had like a handlebar mustache or something.
yeah, like he was a bigger,
like,
older guy.
yeah,
Well,
they
whatever.
made him a little bitch. in this movie.
Well, like
fucking kid from Radio Flyer played him.
it's just weird that, like, I don't know. I guess we have to go into the stuff we didn't like already because I mean we're here.
I mean, we're picking at straws if we're talking about good things.
I know, right?
like it's easier to diss like the fucking movies than to like.
Well, like,
them.
okay. I'll say this. This is my last positive, I guess, and then we could just jump into the stuff we didn't like. But so the fact that they took a detour from the way Rise of Cobra was very dark looking and very everyone's wearing black, and it's hard to really, I don't know, in the scenes when they were all geared up, nothing really differentiated each character from one another other than like, you know, their head, you know, their face when you could see them.
Yeah, but
and then
in Retaliation, you couldn't tell from.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like in Retaliation, they went the opposite and they gave them like greens and fatigues and shit, and then put the, you know, integrated the armor into that, and it looked good. But then you had the same problem because everyone had the same type of shit. You still couldn't tell who was who, and then on top of it,
Yep.
none of the Joes, like they kept name dropping Joes, but you only saw like 5 or 6 Joes in that opening sequence. So like Clutch apparently was driving the quote unquote Rhino that was just a regular fucking Humvee. I was like, what?
Yeah, Grunt was in there too.
Yeah, Grunt was there.
Grunt.
I'm like, you named all these people, but you never showed us who they actually were. I think Breaker had like one line so you could see his face, and he was just some jarhead with a beard, and like they didn't do enough to like make each Joe stand out from what your stereotypical soldier is. Not in their look, not in how they spoke, not in how their costume worked, you know what I mean? So like everyone just came off as just regular soldiers. So when they all got destroyed, it was like, of course they get destroyed. They're regular soldiers. They're not G.I. Joes. It didn't register, and it didn't feel like G.I. Joe, like true G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if this is because we read the comics and we watched the cartoon, you know, like there's things that we can make distinctions with there, or is it because in general we like superheroes, and like, I don't know, the whole superheroic soldier thing, it makes sense, or superheroic villain, you know, for Cobra, it makes sense in the G.I. Joe, you know, context. Like a lot of people didn't know that they were supposed to be sorry, what's his name? It was supposed to be Nick Fury's comic, G.I. Joe. Like it initially started out that way. And a lot of people don't know this. And it surprises me. I'm like, are you really kidding me? Oh yeah, Shipwreck. Yeah, somebody mentions Shipwreck. And it's like, really? Shipwreck was there?
And he died with everyone else.
We got a lot of mentions, but guys, at least we got RZA in the movie.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
We needed that.
He didn't do anything. I wish he'd done more.
Yeah, I know. Like for me, that was like how do you put that?
I don't know.
It was an Easter egg in a sense, because for people who, if you grew up and you were listening to Wu-Tang and you know they're into like Kung Fu and shit like that, it fit in that respect. I mean, granted, they're not doing Kung Fu in this film. I should say he's into martial arts. But, yeah, it was weird. But another fact is, and this is another thing I know a lot of folks don't know, the majority of the masters, or a good percentage of the masters of ninjutsu, and I'm talking like family styles, individual family styles, have been some African-American soldiers that learned it from, you know, Japanese masters. And I learned this like a couple years back because, what was it? Wesley Snipes hosted this show called The Masters of Martial Arts. And then there were all these different, these random people that you're like, huh? Who the hell is this guy? Like, who's that? And then when you read about them, it opened up all this information about all these other martial arts in there. And there was 2 black ninjutsu masters. Like, and I'm talking like, I don't know, 10th, 15th generation, something. And then you see the guy and you're like, that guy's last name is not the same as the school. Like, how is he you know what I mean? Like the grandmaster of this style. And then you find out dude didn't have any sons, and that's who continued. So, I don't know. It fit in that respect. But yeah, he didn't do anything, so it didn't really, you know, do anything. And you know, initially they wanted Jaimin Hansu to play fucking Blind Master. And they wanted Jaimin Hansu to play him. And he looked completely different. He had more of a Bruce Lee look to him, and it was cool. There's all this concept art. This the company that did most of it was called Massive Black, and I think one time we were talking in the chat, and I showed you guys some pictures of them. And a lot of the Pursuit of Cobra shit is based on those sketches that were for stuff that was meant for the movie but didn't get used. So like Skydive, like Beachhead, Pursuit of Cobra Beachhead. There's a number of other things. I think even one of the Hiss designs was our Pursuit of Cobra Hiss. Like they just Hasbro owned all that shit, so they put it to use and made toys. The Ghost Hawk 2 in the movie, it didn't actually look like what the toy looked like. The toy looks more like one of the sketches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of
And
weird.
that toy sucked too.
I know that toy was terrible. It kept falling apart. Like the wings keep falling out and shit. The missiles.
Yeah,
don't
they
stay
keep
in.
popping off.
I had to glue all that shit on. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna glue it on. And it could only fit one guy. I hate that. I hate carriers that can't fit more than, or no, it fit two people. The pilot and the guy that you drop out of the back of the thing. I hate that. I hate it with a passion. Hate it. But yeah, so yeah, the movies weren't that great. Let's talk about shit that was great. Let's talk about the original cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, the original cartoon. Original cartoon, even though it was lighthearted, it had a lot of good shit in there. Like I love all the early miniseries, like the Pyramid of Darkness, Revenge of Cobra, Rise of Serpentor, Rise. I love that shit. Love that shit. Like so quotable. The movie, freaking Sergeant Slaughter. I'm gonna whip you into shape, and I'm talking whip. Like all that shit was awesome.
The only way you're going home is in a ditty bag.
I know. An
itty ditty bag.
Yeah, love it. Or freaking roadblocks, fucking lines. He said, "I don't like that crazy sound. Tell me, dude, what's going down?" He was like,
my favorite Roblox quote in that movie was when they're coming along to get captured, and when they start seeing all that weird shit flying around, and Roblox says, "Man, even though Force is ugly."
Yep.
Oh my god. He said, "I don't need to see clear to fracture your rear." I was like, and the best one ever, he said, "You better play it straight, but there's no doubt I'll turn your eyeballs inside out." I was like, what? Who comes up with this shit? And his character is based on Dolomite. I think that's fucking hilarious. Like his whole rapping and shit, like Rudy Ray Moore, the guy that played Dolomite, they call him the godfather of rap because a lot of the wordplay, the way that it's done and the way things flow together, it came from him. And that dude was a comedian, straight up comedian. If you ever see those Dolomite movies, my God, shit is hilarious. He said that sheriff thinks he's bad and ain't got no class. I'ma lob this motherfucking shotgun up his motherfucking ass. I'm like, what? Freaking Dolomite's crazy, man. But yeah, man, the movie was like, I don't know, a lot of people hate it. I've had people jump in on the comments of the review I did of the movie and just complain and complain and complain, and I'm like,
oh yeah, and I stopped by that video too, and it was like half dislikes, half likes. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
how?
Exactly.
They must have had a sucky childhood.
Yeah, I'm like, how could you not? What were you watching that was so much better than that? You know what I mean?
They're all born after the movie came out.
I know. That's probably
Maybe they were a bunch of bronies.
That too. That could be the case. Maybe that's not their thing, But
They weren't raised with this shit. They're all born in the 90s, bro.
That's true. That's very true.
So when they watch it, they're just like, "Oh my god, this is terrible."
It's old.
Well, it's just because in that generation, everything has to be believable. Like our Batman has to be dumbed down.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's true. That is very.
They
true.
don't understand the essence of G.I. Joe. They don't. They just don't get it.
And like, I'll say like, we'll do the same thing we did for the movies. The things I dug so much about the 80s cartoon. I'll start at the top. The freaking style, like the look of the cartoon. It looked like the comics moving on screen. Like it just was so well done. I mean, there were episodes where it was kind of crap. The animation was kind of crappy, because it is a budget.
Yeah.
It was a budget animation show, but there were episodes where when they were on point, it was insanely on point. I mean, the animation looked good. Even the way things were, the cells were colored. Everything worked well. You didn't have those weird moments where like in Ninja Turtles, you always had those weird moments where like Raphael's face would be on screen, but Donatello's voice would be popping up. Or, you didn't have that in G.I. Joe all the time. Like, I mean, there were a couple moments where you had like a weirdly colored version of a certain character, like Duke would walk on screen and his hair would be brown and his shirt would be black or gray, and you'd be like, what the fuck? But then in the next frame, he'd be the right color. But like besides that kind of stuff, the designs were really cool. The voice acting, every voice matched the character to a T. There was no character who, like, once you saw them and you heard them speak, you don't imagine, like, every time you see that character from that point on, the voice doesn't play in your head. Like when you read the comics, you hear the voice from the cartoon in your mind. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's how it works for you, but for me, that's how it felt. Like, Flint and
they were memorable.
Yeah, Flint and Duke, those voices, like, I need authoritative voices for those characters. They can't be cool, modern. They need to sound like grown-ass men. They can't sound like kids, you know? That's why I didn't buy DJ Controna as Flint, because he acted and sounded like a kid. Whereas Flint that we knew, he would actually be commanding shit. He was in charge. Even Beachhead. Normally you hear that voice, you think of like racist, down south, you know, like jarhead asshole soldier. But in G.I. Joe, he didn't sound and act like that. I mean, he just had the southern drawl, but everything else he did was very, like, heroic. You know, he sounded like a good guy. He acted like a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, and you bought it. So, yeah, I dug so much of that. And the music in the show was amazing. Like,
yes.
God.
Let me ask you guys this: if you had free reign, would you have kept Duke dead?
I wouldn't have killed him off in the first place. I would have had that a bit.
No,
I would have had like you would have killed him.
I mean, a fucking snake went through his chest.
Well, no. If it happened, if we were stuck, if I had to go along with it, and that was the thing, then okay, fine, he's dead.
Well, I'm just saying, if you had the choice to do what they did or kill him off, what would you choose?
Probably do what they did. It came after Transformers the movie, and they got all kind. I was one of the kids.
Yeah, they got all kinds of hate. That's why they put him in a coma.
Yeah, that's why.
The backlash.
Yeah, because I was one of those kids. I remember distinctly being in the theater, watching the freaking movie, the Transformers the movie, and when Optimus Prime's color faded from him, it was nothing but crying from all these kids up until I think. What was the scene? It wasn't up until it was one of the scenes where they were on the planet of junk. These kids were crying. Myself included, we were all crying, and then my mom was like kind of laughing, but at the same time kind of like, what? Really? Like, for real? like she was so confused, and I'm looking to her to like hug me or something, but she couldn't believe how much it hit all these kids, because normally we would watch shit and like you don't react, but it's like they killed off Optimus Prime. All these kids have been watching him for years, and like. That just wasn't the right way to do it, you know what I mean? So, like, I mean, now when we watch it, it's awesome. It's kind of shitty, but it's awesome. You know, the circumstances are shitty because Hot Rod was a moron, and there's no way his destiny was to be the leader of the Autobots with that kind of thinking. Like, get the fuck, he'd just get everybody killed. But but yeah, with Duke, I don't know. It just felt like it was kind of dumb that they even went there. Like, why would you mimic something that didn't work? And I've read reasons why, like, the stories were written around the same time. They wanted to recreate some of the success by doing some of the same things because the sales of the Transformers figures was pretty high because people liked a lot of the new characters. I don't think they liked them as much at first, but you know, in the years that followed, people dug those characters. But I would have rewrote that scene or changed how things went down so we don't even get to the snake in the heart, because it just seemed excessive. Like, they went out of their way to make Duke the person to take that. How come Falcon didn't take the snake in the heart?
It would have made more sense if Falcon took it.
Yeah, because
yeah,
none of
he would redeem himself for that.
Yeah, or like if it like went through his shoulder or some shit, so he's like wounded, and then like later on he does some good shit to like help everybody. Then it'd be like, okay, that's cool. But like, Duke took a snake in the heart after being treated like shit by his younger brother or stepbrother or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make sense. That's just hatred. That's like Cyclops getting killed after Wolverine bones his wife. Like, come on. Like, that's really excessive. And like, as kids, we didn't get it. But like now as adults, it's like, yeah, you guys went out of your way to kill off that character. But I don't know. That's me. What do the rest of you guys think?
I would have probably kept him the same. I wouldn't have killed him off.
I wouldn't either.
I would have killed off Falcon.
Yeah.
Dude,
In a heartbeat.
Yeah,
dude, I'd kill Falcon. Well, man.
because he didn't do
I was
anything.
like, listen, Don, what you're gonna do is you're gonna fucking die in this scene, alright? Because no one likes you.
That's jacked up. I think you're gonna fucking die in this scene.
Like, yeah.
Trying to think of what else. I loved how all the vehicles, everything that was offered, got screen time in that show. I mean, you know, the shows were a big ass commercial for the toys, but I love how they didn't try to hide the fact that you need to see these things so that your kids will want to buy it. You know, the kids saw it. We knew it was awesome. We wanted to buy it once we saw it. We wanted to bug our parents to get those things for us. And they didn't skimp on that kind of stuff. You know, some shows, they'll have a vehicle show up in one episode, and then it'll be a toy that's part of the main line. You know, it'll be one of the 5 things that's offered, and it's all shit that you don't really see in the show that often. You know what I mean? And I hate when they do that kind of stuff. Like, the two things should correlate. And I dug that everything worked the way that you saw it work in the show. So, I don't know. What about you guys? I'm all spitting out all this information. I'll let you guys talk, too.
What's
Well,
the topic again?
What? We're talking about the cartoon, the 80s cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Stuff you
Sorry.
like.
I just need to refresh my memory for a bit.
Well, I was gonna say, does anyone remember an episode of G.I. Joe? I can't remember the name of the episode. It's where Cobra had a plan to topple the American economy. They made some device that disintegrated all paper
Yes!
money.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched that. They're showing reruns on the Hub.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
Yeah, I just watched it. Yep.
Because the plan was they were going to disintegrate all paper currency, so people had to like take all their valuables.
Oh,
Take
I
it.
think the episode was called Money to Burn? Something
Yep.
like
Yeah, I
that?
think that might be
Yep.
the one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that episode.
That was
Yeah.
like probably one of their best schemes they ever had.
What about the mind control one with the all their parents and like
Oh,
loved
that
ones?
was a messed up episode.
That was fucked
Oh,
up.
yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that shit. I was like, damn, that's pretty dastardly for you to pretty much brainwash all the loved ones of all the Joes, and then freaking have them put them in battle armor and have them fight the Joes. Like, that's jacked up.
Yeah, and it was the Barons that came with that plan too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It just always cracked me up because there's that scene where one of Spirit, I think it's Spirit's dad, he's like resisting the shit, and they turn it up, and they're like, "Who do you serve?" And he's like, I serve Cobra." It's all dramatic and shit. And I was like, wow, man, like, they really want to, like, beat this point into your head. Cobra is evil, and they cannot be redeemed. That's why I hated the Rise of Cobra as a movie. Because they tried to make some of the Cobra characters redeemable. And it's like, no, the Baroness is evil. She's an evil, entitled bitch. That's who she is. You can't make her redeemable. Like, that's not who she is, you
Yeah.
know?
Can't do it. That's what they tried to do. They basically did it in Rise of Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled a Storm Shadow.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they pulled a Storm Shadow in retaliation with Storm Shadow.
Which is lame. You know what's funny, too, is like Storm Shadow, they've been giving him the short end of the stick. Because in the comics, his story is so much more complex. He's not responsible for the death of the Hard Master. He took the blame for it so he could find out who was responsible for it. It's a whole interesting story, and they completely ignore it. In the movies, they ignored it in Resolute because I think Warren Ellis wrote it, and he had never watched or read G.I. Joe. So he kind of had a crash course. And you know, Resolute was pretty good because, I mean, it's not that deep. It's not difficult to understand what it is, but, you know, he made some stuff work really well, but, like, Storm Shadow was just evil in that. He just hated Snake Eyes just because.
Yeah. They made him evil just for the sake of being evil.
Yeah, exactly.
Renegades was just dumb. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that game gets that.
like he just
that movie or
like he
show
just put
gets.
poison in the tea or whatever, like something shit like that. Like in Renegades.
Yeah, he was just evil because he wanted to be in
Yeah,
charge.
like what the fuck?
Joking. So you were talking about Hell Screamers.
Hell Screamers, man. Yeah, these look absolutely fantastic, and they're based on what was it? What you said they're based on GI Joe's universe.
Yeah. The dude, they're all compatible with GI Joe figures because the
That's
dude,
fantastic.
yeah, the guy who started it, he was a customizer of GI Joe figures. He used to be in the community.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially because there's a vehicle.
There's a vehicle.
I hope the
Isn't that
vehicle.
great.
Yeah, man. I hope it just doesn't cost like $5 billion or something.
You know what? I think it'll probably be around the $40-50 range. I think.
Because the figures are typically about that. So I'm afraid.
Well, aren't they going to be priced around the same? They're probably going to be priced around the same as Marauder, right?
Yeah. They're going to be. I remember
Like $20,
20 something or 30. I think you could get one if you pay up to like $35. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say that the standard rate will be 20. That's what it was. That was like the lowest you could pledge and then get a figure.
I see.
So maybe if it's 60, that wouldn't be too bad. I'll get a figure in a car and a vehicle.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It might be a little bit more, maybe around the $70-80 range then.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it is all in house. This is an independent.
Yeah, venture pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. I don't know. I might get just one, and I mean, even if it's like around $80-90, I might invest it so we can get more down the line.
Yeah. Any way you slice it, I'm getting a vehicle. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I have to. But so we were talking about G.I. Joe, the 80s cartoon, and some of the figures and such, and what we liked about the show and stuff. So I'll let you. I know I said a whole lot about what I liked about the 80s cartoon. What were things that like stood out to you guys that you dug so much? You know what I mean about that show that even today still kind of does it influence you or motivate you in your collecting or whatever? You can go first if you want, ODC.
No, Steve, you go first. Go ahead.
All right. So what was the question? What to me?
Yeah, like what is it? What are things you love about the '80s cartoon? Because I remember you started watching it on on Toonami. So,
Yes.
what were things that caught your attention and made you such a fan?
I guess the idea of vibrant colors. I guess good versus evil. And I was never I never had a thought of joining the military or anything. I just think it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's like a kid's dream, and it's one of those shows. I still prefer that show over the newer incarnations that are out. To be honest,
Yeah, me too.
Because,
I agree.
Yeah, because Sigma 6 is supposed to be my generation of Joes.
Yeah.
I watched it as a kid. I liked it. Looking back, it's a little corny, or it's very corny.
It's real
I
corny.
think. like the artwork looks cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just I still prefer the old stuff. Like I'm gonna go off topic a little bit. It's just let's say Thundercats or He-Man. I love the newer incarnations more than the 80s
Oh yeah.
stuff because they feel more superior.
Well, they filled in.
He-Man,
They filled in the blanks. How the original shows were kind of non-violent and really soft. To some degree. Well, they filled in all those blanks with the modern retellings.
Yeah, and it's funny because He-Man, you can just judge by the intro. The newer 2002 intro, it's just it became all badass. But the original, it has a catchy theme and all, but it just feels weird. It's just what am I watching? But yeah, and I find it funny how every new incarnation of the show it gets canceled. Thundercats got canceled. He-Man did. Even Renegades, it didn't even get a second season. We were supposed to get a second season.
I don't think people were watching it. I think no matter what the Joe collectors say, the support wasn't there because they knew the show was not good.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, ODC? What were your things?
I like that transition of awkward silence. Well, I mean, I have a lot of favorite episodes. Excalibur is one of them. I just love that. I don't know why. It's just, you know what I mean. You don't know. You almost don't know how it's going to end. And with the, I love how Storm Shadow was really in the forefront for that. He was kind of a badass in that episode as well. What was it? What was another one? I'm trying to look up. I'm actually looking up the episodes right now. There was one with Dusty and
Shipwreck.
no, Dusty and Footloose, and they're both trying to hit on this scientist woman.
Oh yeah.
And they're in the desert, and it's pretty much them against all of Cobra, and they end up pulling through. There it is, Hearts and Cannons.
The name.
I love it. Yeah, it was episode 44 in season 3. That's one of my favorites. I think that was one of the first episodes I've ever seen, and it's always just kind of stuck with me. And that's partially, I mean, I actually had the Dusty was the first action figure I got was due to that episode, me seeing that episode for the first time. So, I mean, I like Steven said, like the bright colors, how it was so eye-catching, and how all the characters were just their own individuals. You know what I mean? It was really nice to see, instead of everyone being in the same uniforms and doing the same thing, and you almost can't tell them apart. It's like each person is the best of their own area, their own division, and they're all coming together as one. And I loved that idea. It was great, and how you could set up so many different scenarios with each character, or like in that one episode of Hearts and Cannons, you could take people out of their, like Footloose, you could take him out of his designated comfort zone and put him in somewhere where he doesn't belong, and see how he adapts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot. There's so many more reasons I could name why I love that show. And,
go ahead, man. Geek out, man. That's what we're here for. Go ahead. Just lay it out.
I mean, there's just, I mean, the vehicles were really always my thing. Like, I had to get, like, when I was a kid, I was like, I got to get this vehicle. My mom's like, yeah, about that. That vehicle's like $100. And $100 doesn't sound like a lot now. But back in 1985, $100 was a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially if you're spending it on toys.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, you want to go to Pizza Hut, or do you want to get a vehicle? Oh, I'll go to Pizza Hut instead. But can I get the vehicle too? No, all right, I'll get an action. That's $3.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just got here.
Hey, what's up?
He's here.
Hey, Kyle. Yeah, 242.
How was your nap?
Actually, I just got back from lunch, actually.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Now we're just going through and continuing talking about what we like and, about the original series. What made it good enough to make us fans for life, pretty much,
Okay.
Shoot, I guess you're right on time. If you want, you could jump in too. What's your thing? What is it how did G.I. Joe affect you, I guess? As far as like what was like your favorite episode?
Probably my favorite episode. It was that multi-story arc. It was Arise, Serpentor Arise.
Oh yeah, man, that shit was awesome.
Because it was probably the one time Cobra almost came close to winning over the Joes, and they messed up.
5-part series. That's it was
yeah, it was serious.
It was serious.
But the first couple miniseries were all like, I want to say 5 episodes.
Yep.
Before season 1. Yeah, I dug Arise, Serpentor Arise a lot. Did you guys have, and I guess this can still continue into the, discussion about, what you liked about G.I. Joe and such, but what were your favorite, so we did favorite episodes, everybody's favorite Joes, or we'll do it Cobra first. Who was your favorite Cobra character?
Scrap Iron.
Scrap Iron, really?
And Zartan.
Wow, that's awesome. I never hear people talk about Scrap Iron. Holy shit.
Gotta stand out.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Kyle?
For Cobra wise, I actually like it's kind of a cross between either the Baroness or Zorana.
Cool. I always liked Zorana. I've never had her figure. She's one of those ones that somehow just slipped through my fingers. Yeah, she's a cool character. She stands out because she's a very different character. I mean, I know later on they had Zanya and Heart Wrencher, and I think that's it as far as female dreadnoughts go. Right?
Yeah.
But she stands out because she was like the first one. She seemed kind of hardcore, but not like, she wasn't like kicking Joe's asses. She was tricking people all the time. You know what I mean? She was slippery as fuck. No, that's cool. And the Baroness, of course. Like, how can you not like the Baroness?
Yeah.
Like a bad girl.
Yeah. What about you, ODC? What your favorite? We know your favorite Joe, but we're starting with Cobra.
Cobra. It was probably Cobra Commander and the Baroness, just
Yeah.
because. I mean, even though Cobra Commander is the biggest coward in the show,
Yeah.
of them all, he's always got a trick up his sleeve. He always has an escape plan, or that's kind of the the route I think.
Yeah,
I guess is how I can relate to Cobra Commander. I always have a contingency plan, so to speak. So I mean, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I always kind of felt bad for Cobra Commander too. I always felt like everyone was ganging up against him, and he's like,
yeah.
"No, stop doing no, just listen to me. I'm the leader. You're not the. Stop it, Destro." You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to get everyone cultivated together, and while stabbing them in the back at the same time. Granted, but he's trying to get everyone together, and they're all stabbing him in the back. It's like if you guys worked well together, you'd get this.
They get shit done.
Thing.
Yep. It's like Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but definitely the Baroness. I mean, she's just one of the first female badasses. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you almost knew, like, when you would watch an episode, like, oh, is that the Baroness in disguise? And then eventually, like, yeah, it would be. Like, but you could tell just by the voice actor. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
But sometimes you didn't know, and you're like, oh, that was the Baroness. It makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Mine is still Destro and Storm Shadow. Those are my favorite Cobra people. With like Alley Viper right after them, just for his look and what I think he could do. Because I watched Operation Dragonfire last night. Holy shit! Woo! That shit was terrible. Like it wasn't as bad as the rest of the DATSME series, but God, it was pretty bad.
The Dick series.
I know. I always wondered about that. Like, we always pronounce it Deke because that's what the little kid says at the end. But I'm like, I know I'm reading Dick. Like, why is it? Why are we?
I'm reading Dick and I watched Dick. Oh God.
But yeah, man, like that. Oh, Operation Dragonfire. Oh, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. But still, Alley Viper stood out for some reason. But yeah, Storm Shadow was awesome because his plot was one way in the cartoon, and you knew there had to be more to it. And then when you read the comics, it's just so deep and layered. And it's like, characters typically, especially in comics, like, around that time, characters were really cut and dry. You're either good or you're bad. You know what I mean? And there were a couple in between, but he had a lot going on, with joining Cobra so he could gain the resources to deal with the person who he thought was responsible for the death of his, of his master. Like, that's crazy shit right there. And then in the process of doing that, he ends up becoming more of a villain. And I don't know, that was just a really slick plot for me. And then Destro is like mega, ultra, super pimp. Like, he's got all the weapons, he's got all the money, he's got the Baroness. Like, he pretty much is building shit for Cobra Commander. Like, he's practically the man, and he wasn't a blumbering, like, idiot like Cobra Commander was at times,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's kind of, it is difficult to say which one character with Cobra, because Cobra kind of felt more like one big-ass character. I mean, even though it's several characters, they kind of feel like they all go hand in hand,
Yeah.
At least
Wild Weasel's another good one.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
He is hilarious. Like, he's cool. Same thing with the Cobra Law people were pretty cool. There's a lot of cool Cobra characters. And it's weird because a lot of shows don't have really cool villains. Or villains that are equally as cool as some of the good guys. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's
I mean, what cooler? Who did a better voice than Burgess Meredith with Globulus?
I know, right?
Oh my God, it was so perfect.
It was perfect. He said, "The last thing you will hear is the snapping of your vertebrae, one by one."
That was some intense shit. I remember the first time I saw that.
Oh yeah.
They
They didn't fuck around with 80s cartoons. I mean, like, you had Megatron talking about "let the slaughter begin" as he kills off like Autobots that you actually grew to love from the series.
Yeah.
He was just gatting people. And then yeah, there was a lot of that in G.I. Joe the movie, just the way things were presented. People they didn't say "I'm gonna destroy you." They said "I'm gonna kill you."
Yes.
Which is something that you don't get anymore on television. They really dumb it down to the point where it's fake. It doesn't feel real for the characters that are taking part in whatever the drama may be. But,
well, yeah, with modern cartoons, the stakes are never raised.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just like, oh, good
except
guys won again with little to no.
There was no consequence.
Threat.
Yeah, except for Justice League Unlimited, like the stuff that Bruce Timm and his people do.
Yeah.
They you feel like, holy shit, like this is serious, But like everything else, maybe also Avatar, The Last Airbender, that group of people, like that team, they kind of push things. That's why they had to end Korra online, because the studio was like, yeah, no, we don't want. There's gay people. What? No, we're not doing that on Nickelodeon. And it's like, they didn't actually come out and say it. It was implied. Like, and why can't she be I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But they actually pushed boundaries, as you should. You're telling stories to a generation that has a whole different set of things to contend with. You know what I mean? And they, people deserve to be challenged. And I think, like, when we look back at our old cartoons, they challenged us. Because as kids, we're just like, wow, like this is really serious. You forget that it's a cartoon. Then you get older and you watch it and you're like, even though it's cheesy, they still really went for it in a lot of episodes, Like freaking Shipwreck falling in love with the mermaid chick that was, she was a...
That's so Shipwreck.
But she was a Cobra Trooper that they experimented on to make her into a mermaid. So that there
was a lot of metahumans in there.
Yeah. Well, like, and it's just jacked up, though, that Cobra did that to her, and she just really had no choice, and she didn't want to leave because she was too afraid. You know what I mean? It was like, they really played it fairly seriously, which is pretty cool. A lot of shows, they break that after a while, where you're just like, well, actually, the second series, the Deke or Dick series,
Dick,
the Dick series, they broke all of that. All of, like, in that series, it was all like people were knocking themselves out so that there'd be an end to a fight. So-and-so tripped and bumped his head. Now he's knocked out. It's like, what? Why did he trip and bump his head? Like, how did this happen?
Get tough.
I know. Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. And some of the voices, I guess.
Oh, I was just about to bring that up. Like, they had the worst voice casting, those characters, especially Storm Shadow.
In the Dick series you're talking about? Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah. Lady J and Stalker sounded terrible. Oh my god. Lady J was like, after you've listened to her voice, she had such a dope voice. Like, so it was so unique in the first season, because I've never heard another chick that sounded like that in anything. And then they replace her with just some generic chick, generic.
Yeah, she had that like raspy voice.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It was sexy as hell,
nice
man.
Change of pace.
And then they completely were like, yeah, fuck that. We're not going to look for unique. We're just going to get generic.
Yeah,
it just so bad. Only people that they seemed to improve on or continue with were like your boy, the sniper. What's his name? Lowlight. He sounded more like Dirty Harry than he did in the previous season.
Like in the movie when he's in there for 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Showtime. I think Wild Bill was a little bit more country sounding, but everyone sounded younger.
Yeah,
and
you could tell things were starting to change for the worse.
Oh yeah. It was pretty bad. But Sergeant Slaughter was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Which he better be, or else I'm not even showing up. He better be.
Baddies disease.
But I guess it's safe
Oh,
to say
that was the name of that episode. I couldn't think of it. The Traitor is my favorite episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that the one with where Dusty?
Defects, but it's
Yeah.
actually an undercover agent. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was pretty cool. What about the what's it called? There's no place like Springfield or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, with the
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I didn't get it when I was a kid, but you know, watching it so many times with my sons, it's like, wow, this was way over my head for a reason. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff that as a kid you would have no frame of reference for. The Germ, remember the Germ, which is pretty much the Blob. Like
Yeah.
that was.
I dig Worlds Without End.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Somehow,
what a great title.
somehow, yeah, I know it sounds so dramatic, so
Yes.
serious.
Sounds like a James Bond film.
Yeah.
Somehow, that's one of the ones that like I don't remember seeing that one as a kid, and then I didn't remember watching. Like we have the whole series, and I don't remember ever seeing it until like one day. I think I was watching it with the younger son. We just had it on, and I'm like, "Who's screaming like that?" Because you remember Steeler was like freaking out because he got stung by that weird bug. And I'm like, why is Cobra Commander screaming like that? You know, and then you realize that Charlie Adler, or Chris Latta, was the voice of Steeler also. So like when he was freaking out and he's screaming, you're like, oh shit, like that sounds just like Cobra Commander and shit. But no, the whole thing with the alternate world and the female Cobra Trooper and the Baroness being a good guy, and it was just weird. It was so weird. And then them seeing themselves dead, like, that was crazy. Yeah, they really, really did their damn thing. And then of course there's the Viper. Remember that one?
The Viper, yeah. I'm the Viper.
And everybody's freaking out.
About to
Like,
bring that episode up.
yeah, it's a good one, man. It's so good because it's
It's kind of dumb, but it's
tomorrow.
funny at the same time.
exactly.
Well, the thing I like about it was I like how the Joes, they think like Cobra's up to something, but they're just taking all these blind guesses. At the same time, Cobra's like, "What the fuck? How did GI Joes know what we're doing? Like someone's a snitch on us right now."
Pretty much. Yeah, because they were like they were so paranoid, which was crazy. You know, it's like the Joes always are on their guard, even when they're off duty, which is freaking hilarious. Yeah, I like that episode a lot. God, I'm trying to think of other ones. Arise Serpentor Arise was awesome. I love the animation when they first make the jacked up Serpentor. You remember how
the big hamburger monster?
Yeah. Yep, that animation was amazing. And like when he's fighting Sergeant Slaughter and then he just melts, and then the twins show up and like they've got their guns on Sergeant Slaughter and he just picks up all the hamburger and throws it in their face. It's just awesome, man. Like that was another one where they showed how badass Sergeant Slaughter was. He'd be taking on everyone by himself.
Yeah, and especially because like at that time, like I'm still into wrestling now. I still watch wrestling, but like
they were like
Sergeant Slaughter was the real deal. Like I was watching him before he was in the WWF. I was watching when he was in the boring ass AWA.
Yeah, me too.
And those were his heydays. Like that's when he was in his prime, and that's around the time I think when he was signed by Hasbro. He also joined the WWF and put in his contract that they had the rights to his character as well, or he had his own rights.
Mm-hmm.
So when he joined the G.I. Joes, I was like, holy shit. He's in my cartoon.
Exactly.
This guy's everywhere. He's an icon.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cool. He was probably the best thing that could have happened to them at that time. Because the show was pretty good. And then just when it was like, it felt like they were about to run out of ideas, they introduced Sergeant Slaughter. And you're like, oh my God. Even though the show itself took a turn for the worse, it still had Sergeant Slaughter. So you tuning in every day to see, and he was actually pretty prominent. Like when the, Dick took over, he was pretty prominent in the show. So were the Marauders. They were always in there.
Yeah. I think the movie really started doing more for his character too in the show too.
Oh, yeah.
The movie really helped it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so favorite Joes. I know people have already heard this from us so many times, but I guess we could still quickly just go through it. We'll start with you, Kyle, since you weren't here the first time we started talking about all this stuff. Who are your favorite Joes?
Favorite Joes, I would probably say it's kind of a cross between either Beachhead or Dusty.
Cool. God, our whole crew are like Beachhead fans and Dusty fans. That is awesome. Well, because everywhere else you go, it's boring ass Snake Eyes, and it's like,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on. Steven, I already know what you're gonna say, but who is your? I think we all do. Who's your favorite Joes?
Dude, what?
Your favorite Joes? Come on, you know who it is. We know who it is.
Does it start with a D?
I
and
know,
then
right?
with an Ook?
Duke, Flint, Lifeline, Law and Order, Stalker,
Law and Order is awesome. Yeah, Stalker is too.
and Beachhead, like everyone else here.
Oh man, and you ODC with yours?
It's I don't have a set order. I just
Yeah,
I
just
don't
whoever.
they're just all the same favorite wise. Like there's so many there's so many characters. Anyway, it's a bunch of them. It's Low Light, Dusty, Hawk, Duke, Beachhead. But I would say, if I have to choose one, it's probably Dusty, then Low Light, and then maybe Beachhead.
Then Beachhead, yeah. That's quality. I mean, like, I don't know. I just find it dope that, like, there's so many Joes, and in a lot of places, I don't think people actually bother to, like, look into the other guys. Like, I mean, I'm hearing here a lot of different ones that people normally, like, I hardly ever hear Dusty. Or, like, Lifeline. Like, no one says Lifeline. I never hear that. Even when we used to do, up until the figure came out for the 30th anniversary, no one ever mentioned Lifeline. No one even did dios with Lifeline. And then a figure shows up, and then everyone dick rides the figure because it's new. And it's like, we're talking about, like, what characters caught your attention when you were a kid, you know what I mean? Like, and you still have your figure, or you made sure that you found a newer version of that figure, in recent years. And it's just strange. Everybody sticks to Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and then Cobra as a general rule, which is mainly the commander and a bunch of troopers. So it's kind of cool to see, or sometimes some people like the Dreadnoks, but it's cool to see, to hear like other characters, My favorites, probably my absolute favorite is still Beachhead. But my other favorites are, Lady J and Flint. I've loved those two. Like, when I would think of couples in comics, like, they're always one of the couples I always think of. And the way they played off of each other in the cartoon, where in the beginning it was kind of like flirting, and then later on it was kind of like they locked this shit down already. Like, you could tell. I like Scarlet's pretty cool because she was one of the first, like, really badass female heroine types that could, like, beat as much ass as the dudes could, like, being that her brothers were all fighters. They're all, like, martial artists too, so she had to prove herself, and she could beat all three of her brothers and hang with her dad and shit. Like, it was pretty cool that was her background. She's pretty hardcore. I like Duke. I mean, I always like the leader characters too, as they got a lot on their plate. And if the guy can convince you that he's if he can convince you to do what needs to be done, he's a good leader. And Duke seems to be that character,
Like, Michael Bell, man, like his voice, he voiced Cyclops in Pride of the X-Men. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of those guys, they were on, like, Sunbow's payroll for a long time, so anything they did, you heard their voices in them. Like, a lot of the Thundercats crew that was part of, what was that, Rankin and Bass did those cartoons. You heard them in Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks, like, all kinds of stuff. But, yeah, he had a powerful voice. He sounded like the leader, Same thing with Flint. It's like what I was talking about when we were speaking before about, like, characters we liked and things that the show kind of imprinted on us. Like, anytime when I think of Flint, if I read him in print, like in a comic, any comic, even if it's today's comics, I still hear, you know, Flint from the cartoon's voice. Like I can't undo it. It's just too late. It's just the way it is.
Such a memorable voice.
I know, right? It's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. It works so well though. It works so well. Yeah, that's about it for me. Oh, Snow Job. I forgot. Snow Job's one of my favorites too. I always imagine Chuck Norris being Snow Job.
Oh yeah, or Outback.
Yeah. He could be either or. I know he's probably more Outback than you know, Snow Job, but like even when I used to have the original O-ring one, I used to always make him talk like Chuck Norris. But and make him kick, you know, spinning heel kick people just because. But I love that character though. I just feel like even though not everyone will be able to do Arctic missions out in the actual snow. He's a survivalist, so he's still pretty, you know, necessary. You know.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to add Lady J.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got a woman running around with just spears and a quiver.
Yeah.
And sometimes a gun.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of athleticism and a lot of accuracy and a lot of talent to be just throwing around spears at. You know what I mean? No, I'm being serious too.
It's true.
Like,
No, it is. It's very true.
So you got to give her a lot of credit. She's a badass woman.
Yeah, she is. Okay, so here's another fun part, I guess. If you guys remember all this stuff, like what would you say are your favorite vehicles?
Okay.
We can start with Cobra vehicles first, if that's easier. I know they had more outlandish vehicles.
Sure.
And it can be from any time period. It doesn't have to, it's not stuck to like, you know, just the 80s, but just period. What would you say are some of your favorite vehicles from Cobra? Anybody can start.
Okay.
Well, for me, I like the Pursuit of Cobra, his tank.
Oh yeah, that shit's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I just wish that they made the gimmick something more like, it doesn't really make that much sense. Like, oh, it pops up. Okay, and then what happens when it pops up? It can still shoot, and it still shoots downward. But, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like he doesn't even need that, and it's still super awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially the back portion where the second person sits. That shit's awesome. You see that kind of shit in anime all the time. And then here's G.I. Joe having it as like a standard piece of the, you know, one of the most recognizable vehicles. Yeah, that shit's awesome. So I don't even mind the Retaliation version either. I don't mind that one at all.
For me, it's the Night Raven. That was the first, I think, Cobra vehicle I ever had.
Such a pimp
That was
plane.
the original Night Raven. Sorry.
It's such a pimp vehicle, man.
It's awesome. It was massive. I mean, it was about the size about as long as I was at the time.
And it had the little drone. Remember?
Yeah.
Or scout ship or whatever. It was like a drone ship. That was pretty cool.
So you could fit 3 people on that play set, so it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Steven? What were ones you liked?
Vehicles, right?
Yeah, Cobra vehicles.
Cobra vehicles. I like the Stinger
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
and the Pursuit of Cobra Fury. Like I took a
love
picture
that
not
thing.
too long ago.
Love that thing.
That
And
thing goes for crazy prices.
I know.
and the thing,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it does. I got lucky at Ross for that, but
$90, crazy.
and the
Are you
one I was
serious?
getting updated
Yeah, man.
for.
It's pretty annoying, man. Like some of those, like they weren't popular when they came out, but then they hit the secondary market, and then everything is just freaking astronomical prices. Yeah, we're gonna do that one day. Is go on eBay while we're doing one of these podcasts or just a video in general, and just point out how absurd the shit is. Because I get a lot of people trying to explain why, you know, to justifying how crazy the shit is and why it is. Talking about, you know, you got to store the stuff and you got to upkeep the stuff. Like it costs like $1 to get a bucket of wipes if you want to wipe the shit down. You know what I mean? Like I mean, unless you're paying for
that is like one of the worst
excuses.
friggin' excuses I've ever heard of.
I agree.
Oh, you gotta store it. Well, then don't buy it if you can't store it.
Yeah,
if you can't afford to store it, then don't buy the damn thing.
Well, most of us would just store it in our little man cave or your closet or your freaking, your attic or something. Like, it's simple, like it's not something. I mean, unless you're actually going out there and paying for storage, there's no reason for you to pay any extra to store the damn thing. I mean, maybe the flag you would pay for storage.
Yeah, that would be massive. Yeah.
For me, I would say the Cobra Bug is one of my favorites. That thing is so weird, and I just love how outlandish it is and how it can hold so many characters on it. I like the AGP. It's one of Destro's, like those Iron Grenadier things. It's the flying. I don't know. It looks kind of like a small plane, but it's got like a weird alien kind of design to it. It's pretty dope. I think it's a one-seater too. I never had one when I was a kid. And one of my friends had the Bug, so I got to play with it a lot, but I never had the Bug. I'm trying to get one now. Like,
I had the Bug, and
yeah, did you lose it?
Little to have
broke
the Bug, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you broke it up, like tore it up.
I got played with. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. What else?
The water moccasin.
Yeah, that thing's pretty cool too. And I like the Cobra Condor. I've loved that thing since the first day I ever saw that thing. It's pretty awesome.
That's a cool one, yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. When I was a kid, I was really one-sided when it came to my vehicles and stuff. Like, I always had more Joe stuff than Cobra stuff. So, like, I didn't really see, and a lot of times I didn't see the Cobra stuff in the store. I guess because it was so cool, everybody was getting it. But, yeah, I had lots of Joe stuff. Just, I didn't hardly have anything for my Cobras. I guess we could jump into Joe's. What were your favorite Joe vehicles? You can start, ODC, since you just finished.
It's probably it's a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch more Cobra I could have named, but oh man, where do I start? The Conquest X30.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
That's probably my all-time favorite. But recently, the Thunderwing, bro, from the '90s.
That thing is awesome.
The F-22 Raptor. I love that. That is just a amazing, awesome vehicle. So, what else? I like the Pit. I just finally got my Pit up and done. It took 3 weeks, but I love the Pit, man. It's awesome. What else is that?
That is a place that we'll probably never ever get ever again.
Know, right?
Never ever.
Never
It'll be
again.
the closest thing to our to like a command center.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird that that's the way things happened. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
It is. Another one is the X-19 Phantom.
Yeah, that one's nice. It was too big for my liking, but it still was a pretty plane. Super pretty plane.
Yeah. And the last one, and I don't even own it, and I'm still trying to find it, is the 30th anniversary or Pursuit of Cobra Vamp 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that shit's awesome. I love that thing. What about you, Kyle?
For me, even though it's a small vehicle, but I like it because of its design look, is the Armadillo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are cool. Yeah, those are cool.
Well, because I mostly like it because it reminds me of something you see in Metal Slug.
Yeah, I love that game. Oh my god, I think I have the anthology of that thing, man. We play it all the time. Yeah, I want some company released a small Metal Slug, like an actual vehicle. I don't know if it's 3 3/4 inch or if it's smaller, but shit, I need to look into that. I would love to have one of those. But yeah, it's a cool little tank. I think we have 2 of them. We have the 25th, and then I got the one from the Rise of Cobra. What else? Is that it? Is that your favorite one? Like all-time favorite?
That one also. The Mobat tank.
Oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
that makes sense. I've never been a
The
tank person.
Mauler was really cool too because it had 2 different speed settings.
Oh yeah.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it had a slow speed setting, and it could still climb up better than the Mobat. Because the Mobat, you actually had to flip it around backwards to get it to climb up stuff because it would hit the battery pack
Right.
in the front. So you would actually have to roll it backwards and up stuff. But the Mauler, it was a little bit. It had 2 different speed settings, and the slow speed setting was actually faster than the Mobat first speed setting, which Mobat only had 1. But the second one, it would like fly up shit, like it would go fly. It was pretty quick. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I think I might go with like a tank from like Elite Force or something like that because I've never been a fan of the G.I. Joe tanks. The only tank that I like, or the closest thing to a tank that I like, is one of my favorites. I'll only get to it if you're done, Kyle. You got some more?
Oh no, I'm good. That's like only 2
You
I
sure?
can think of right now.
Yeah. What about you, Steven?
The Ram Cycle,
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
the All Striker.
Yeah.
I would love to get like an updated, I guess, I'm pretty sure True Heroes have this, but like a Thunderclap or a Rolling Thunder. You know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure True Heroes has something like that.
They definitely have
So,
something like
yeah.
the Rolling
I
Thunder.
think they do.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
I'm pretty
something
sure
like
they
the
do.
Rolling Thunder. It's like a missile hauler, I think is what they call it.
Yep.
And there's 2
Yeah.
versions of it too. One has just 1 giant rocket, and then the other one has 3 giant rockets. So, yeah. Now those are good ones. I've never been a big fan of the Awe Striker. I don't know what it is. I think because it's a beach vehicle, I just was like, really? You guys are driving around?
Well, you can use it in the desert too.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't know. In my mind, that's always the first thing I go to is the beach when I think of those kind of buggies because of,
Right along the beach.
because of what's the guy's name? Beachcomber. Remember the Transformer Beachcomber? He turned into one of those. That was one of the few Transformers I had when I was a kid, and I used to play with them all the time. And he was all like, "Super mellow, man. How you doing, dude?" Like, yeah. So I can't separate the 2 for some reason. But so you got any more, Steven? D.A.R, wake up.
He took a nap.
Okay, I guess I'll go.
That's what it's called. It's the True Heroes
What's up?
missile launcher placement.
Yeah. No, did you have any more, Steven?
Oh no, I don't have any
Those
more
are-
vehicles
those are
in mine.
Okay. So, mine are the Night Striker. That was the first vehicle I ever got for G.I. Joe. And that thing was awesome because it had all kinds of shit. It had a motorcycle. It had this little sea sled that you could shoot out. There was so many little spots that you could play with, you know, different weapons and shit you could play. And you could put so many damn Joes in there. I never had that many, but like you could still fit a whole ton of them in there. I like the Hammer. You remember that? The Hammer was like the 2nd generation Vamp.
Yep.
It had too many damn guns and missiles on it. It looked like if it flipped over, it would definitely explode because it's just like armament everywhere.
What was cool because it was so encased.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there was a lot more duck and cover
yeah.
room that you had with that vehicle.
And it was easy to put people in it. That was always a problem I had with a lot of Joe vehicles. Is like trying to put your figures in there and make them look like they're driving the thing. Sometimes that was really damn difficult with some of them. Like you'd be struggling for a couple minutes to get them to put their hands on the controls or something, but not with the Hammer. You just slid them in and they were right there, you know?
Yep.
I dug the Mud Fighter. It's that little jet with the propeller on the back. It was pretty cool. I don't remember what the gimmick was with it other than there was a propeller on the back. It was like a little green plane with a weird black cockpit.
Yeah,
And
I remember. And it had a spindle on the back.
yeah, it had the spinning propeller on the back. I always liked smaller planes. They're just easier to play with. I might actually look into getting one of those now. I like
They're cheap, like $20.
Really?
There's like two of them on. There's two for sale for like $21.
two together or two separate?
Two together.
What? Wow.
It says two vintage Cobra Mud Fighters from 1989, $21.99 with $8 shipping,
Wow.
or best offer.
That's crazy.
I'll send you the link.
Cool. I like the Mean Dog. I hate the name, but I like the vehicle. It just looked powerful, you know? And these are the things I liked in place of a tank. I never really dug the Joe tanks because they never really did anything fancy with them. Like Cobra's tanks always looked kind of fancy, you know? But the Joe tanks always looked like standard tanks that you would see in real life, except for these kind of weird, you know, vehicles like that. The Rhino was cool, the one, especially the Rise of Cobra version, which is pretty much the Sigma 6 version, just in different colors. And then the Thunderclap. That's probably my favorite of the Joe vehicles. That shit is on a different level. That big ass gun. It's like the Joe's trying to give Cobra penis envy or something. Like, it's insane, man. I like just playing around with the thing now. I'm just like, man, they would really wreck shop with a weapon like this. And I know it's based on a real railgun, but it's just like, man, the idea of a weapon that damn big, and you're towing it around, and then it's got satellite jamming systems on it. So it's just like you wouldn't even know where it is. You know what I mean? Like you'd shoot, you destroy something, tow it back up, and drive away, and no one would know where you were. Like it's pretty evil, but you know it's kind of cool. But yeah, those are my favorites.
What should we jump into Pursuit of Cobra?
Oh yeah.
Do we dare?
Yeah.
We may as
Let's
well.
do it.
May as well.
Now the smile on my face just got a little bit larger.
So I guess we can just all jump in and just talk about our favorite figures. You can start since you got the biggest smile. Go ahead.
Well, I'll try and do a top 10 here.
Okay.
Dusty's my favorite.
Yeah.
Not just because he's one of my favorite characters, but from head to toe, that figure is just a 10 out of 10. I think I love that figure. Then it's probably, I don't know. I really like Hawk. Firefly's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Low Light.
Of course, he was so hard to find. My God.
Yeah. Beachhead is another great one. I really love the Alley Viper, the Jungle Viper. Oh my God, I love that Jungle Viper.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Oh man, it's probably Dusty than the Jungle Viper. Who else? I'm trying to think. I actually, you know what? And I know I'm going to get beat up for this, but I'm ready to accept the beating. I actually don't mind the Cobra Commander figure.
What, the original one?
The one from Pursuit of Cobra, where he's got the
Like the big puffy
he's
shirt?
very regal looking Cobra
hate
Commander
that. I
with
hate
his
that.
jacket. And he's got the
safari gear.
the cravat on his around his neck or whatever you want to call that.
figure.
I actually kind of like that figure still.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like like when I had that figure, he was kind of like when he's like out in the field.
Yeah. I never dug it. Never did, man. I completely waited until that second Cobra Commander came out that looked like... He looks more like the Rise of Cobra version with the better helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that one too.
Except what I did was I have the Rise of Cobra version, and I put the head from the one of the Retaliation Cobra Commanders. I put that on it. Like I think it's the Hiss Driver Cobra Commander. I took his head off and put it on the Rise of Cobra Commander. Yeah, I don't know.
Are we talking about two different Cobra Commanders?
Yeah, no. The one you're talking about is the very first. There's two Cobra Commanders in Pursuit of Cobra. The first one is the one you mentioned that I hate. It looks like he's got a pot belly because his jacket's so big.
Okay. Yeah, the blue jacket. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's the first
And then there
one.
was a Rise of Cobra repaint.
Exactly. The second one is a repaint of the Rise of Cobra. So he's got like a chrome mask. It's like red
with
chrome,
the red body armor.
and he's got the same armor except it's red instead of silver.
Oh, it's like the movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came with the cool like coat of arms flag thing that like you hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like if you prefer more of a standard look to your Cobra Commander, like a more classic look to him, then I guess that fits. For an update. Just for me, it didn't. I wanted an update, and then when I wanted the classic look, I just ended up getting the Sunbow version from Retaliation. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you're in the minority with Cobra Commander because I don't hear people, and I've seen him kind of evenly. So hey, whatever works.
He's dirt cheap too. I think he goes for like $8-9.
Yeah.
Still.
I still see him at Walgreens and CVS like every now and then. Him and Blowtorch, man. Like nobody bought those things like way back when, which is crazy when you think about it.
It is because they go for quite a penny now.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would pay more than $8 for Blowtorch. They keep force feeding us Blowtorch like every chance.
That is one of the
he's
one
like
of the most annoying figures ever.
It's weird.
Like I mean, like I have a Charbroil figure already. Like who needs Blowtorch?
What do you need Blowtorch for? Like I never understood that. And then like they never
or you have barbecue.
Exactly. But you never have like barbecue's the he's like the antithesis of Charbroil or Blowtorch because he's the fireman. That's what he does. He puts out the fires. Whereas the other two of them were roasting motherfuckers with their blowtorches. I always was like, man, that's kind of mean to still have that as a designation, like in your army right now. Like, do they even still have flame troopers like they used to? I don't think they still do because that's like super evil. that's like Hitler shit, like Nazi shit. Like we're just,
pyros.
Yeah, we're just gonna burn these folks. Like, wow, really? Like, and he's like proud, I burn Cobra troopers, misled individuals who joined Cobra. I burn them alive for G.I. Joe, America.
And makes s'mores at the same time.
I know. Yeah. Oh man, pork chop sandwiches. Like,
What the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck out of here!
Oh my god! But nah, you were still going. Sorry, I kind of took stuff off. Sorry. You said you like Cobra Commander.
Oh, Cobra Commander. I lost my train of thought. Oh shit. Shoot.
You said Dusty, your Jungle Vipers, like number 2.
Oh, Jungle Viper, yeah. The Jungle Bat. I love that figure.
Yeah.
I just got one finally.
Yeah.
For a decent price. I like the Jungle Bats. What else? I'm trying to think here. The Shock Trooper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah. It's so simple too, but it's so good. Like. It's so funny because there's so many more technically, complex figures, and that figure still is just like one of the dopest. Especially when you get a couple of them and you outfit them differently, just slightly, it makes them really feel like different characters, which is really awesome. Yeah, I love those guys.
And last but not least, Zartan.
Yeah, Zartan's awesome.
Yeah,
super awesome figure. Cool, that's a good list. Any vehicles specifically from Pursuit of Cobra that stood out for you?
The goddamn Vamp 2.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
Trying to think of what else. There's a lot I don't have.
Well, just ones that it doesn't matter if you have it or not. Just ones that you're interested in, that you like.
Yeah, definitely the Vamp Mark II, the Cobra Hiss Tank. I got the Ghost Hawk was really good, really cool. I like that updated version of the Ghost Hawk.
Yeah, with the armored canopy, it's like closed. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
The Snowcat is another really cool one. The one that came with Whiteout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Okay. What about you?
The Fury, even though it's
Yeah, the Fury's awesome.
Christ.
I need to get one of those, man. I miss out on that every time I see it. I miss out. I need to get one. All right. What about you, Kyle?
For me, Iron Grenadiers.
Oh yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw those figures, because at the time I had no idea Pursuit of Cobra was out. I was just browsing online, and I was like, G.I. Joe makes these now? Well, because I liked it because it reminded me of Jinro.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Genro, kind of crossed with like Alien or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost look like, and I actually shot the review yesterday for One Iron Grenadier. They almost look like in Sucker Punch, those troopers that they go up against.
Yeah, those steampunk zombies. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
At least in the helmet, there's a collector's club Iron Grenadier that has the long coat and everything. It has the goggles and the whole nine. It's like it's become a stereotype in sci-fi, where especially with fans, where they do the gas mask and the goggles and the World War II, almost Nazi-ish looking helmet or German soldier helmet, and then the long coat. I think one of the plague soldiers or plague troopers has that look. Keep going, Kyle. I'm sorry. We're all jumping.
Oh, it's okay. Let's see. So, the Iron Grenadier, the Cobra Shock Troopers, the Vipers, Zartan, Firefly, the Jungle Viper, and I think, even though I still have yet to get him, Moneybags Destro.
Yeah. That's a dope one. All right. Did you already go, Steven?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, he didn't
Good. Go ahead. You can go.
Both Dukes,
I agree. Those are pretty cool figures.
Like, I don't know, and at the same time, it kind of gives me off this Casper Van Dyne vibe. I don't know. Looking at that figure just makes me wish Casper Van Dyne or Dean whatever is Duke in the live-action movies. What else? We all know Firefly, the whole Predator or Green Goblin mask Firefly.
Yeah.
I would love to get Moneybags Destro. My dumbass, slept on Beachhead.
You can still find him for fairly cheap. I've seen a couple of them for
you can still get them for around the $20.
Like $20. I've seen a couple that were under 20, so you might be able to do that.
Just be forewarned that you're going to have to swap out his hands.
Yeah, his hands are terrible.
Yeah, those hands suck.
They're terrible.
I don't know if I mentioned it in one of my... I know in some video I did where I went over the Joes, I mentioned swapping out those hands, because, they are awful. Awful. Who else? Keep going. Sorry.
Savage Zartan.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
General Hawk, because, I like this with G.I. Joe. For some reason, General Hawk reminds me of something from Battlefield. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, the whole Pursuit of Cobra line makes me wish they made a Lady J that reminds me of Meryl Silverberg from Metal Gear
4?
Oh, nice.
That'd be
I
awesome.
was hoping they would do something like that. You know what I mean?
Me too.
What else?
Just as long as she's not all buff like Meryl was in Metal Gear 4. You remember that? She was huge.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
Avoid.
It was awesome, but for Meryl, it's awesome, but for Lady J, it wouldn't be so cool. It'd be weird. But yeah.
Remember the first Ultimate Snake Eyes, with the visor head or the goggle head, you can swap out.
Yeah.
Wasn't
With
that
that weird looking straps on the crotch or whatever?
Yeah, they just hang down.
Oh, yeah, that's the go-to Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
I think if you had to have one Snake Eyes figure, that'd be the one to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get a second shot at him, too. That's why I'm not even going to bother with the Pursuit of Cobra one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait for that 2-pack to come out with the Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Ultimate Snake Eyes and Ultimate Storm Shadow. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's worth it.
The Shock Trooper, obviously, I'll take those over the Combat Ninja or Cobra Special Forces.
I know, right? As opposed to the Care Ninjas or the Night Watch Ninjas or something. It's like, what the hell? Of course they're combat ninjas. What else do ninjas do? Like
Well, there's the going to sleep ninja. There's
the babysitting ninjas. Don't forget the babysitting ninjas.
The chef ninja. There's
I know, right? The pancake
he cooks silently.
The pancake ninjas and like I
The
always,
steak and egg ninjas.
you know. This doesn't make any damn sense. Oh, and there's taco ninjas. You can't forget the taco ninjas. Like, come on. I never understood that. I always hated those like redundant titles, like the Wolfhound. Like, yeah, a wolf is a dog is a hound. Yeah, it's all the same shit. Or like the Eagle Hawk. Like, who is naming this shit? Like, the Eagle Hawk? Like, come on, guys. Really?
It's like cat dog.
Yeah, like really, like nah.
Putting two animals.
It's weird because there's a point in GI Joe where, like, after I want to say the mid '80s, as we went into the '90s, you started to get more of that kind of lame names for vehicles, where it felt like they just threw names in a pot and just picked two things out and put them together. You know what I mean? Like the Mean Dog. As much as I love the way the thing looks, that's what you name that vehicle, the Mean Dog. You could name it like Cerberus or something. Like, name it something that's actually cool, not just some generic ass term like it's Mean Dog.
The Mean Dog.
Come on.
You might as well just name that thing Angry Beaver.
Whoa! I mean, what kind of beaver are we talking about?
I know, right? Hey.
And the middle door is open wide up. Oh wait, it's the Angry Beaver. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so wrong.
I know.
But it's
What
so
about
right.
the Doom Cycle? Did anyone like that?
Oh, I love that thing. I have one, and I have I actually got that while it was in stores. That and the Ice Cutter. It's pretty cool. I guess so you named all your people. What about vehicles, dude?
Vehicles. Pretty much the only ones I have are the His Tank, the black His Tank, not the nasty olive color one.
I forgot about that color.
Me too.
The Cobra Fury,
Mm-hmm.
All Striker, and that's all I have for vehicles. But the other vehicles I want, I missed out on the who's that character? The Storm Rider or whatever.
Yeah, he's the one that came with the Doom Cycle.
Yeah. What was the other one? Ashiko or whatever that came with the cycle armor.
Yeah,
Something like that.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it.
Cool. You went, Kyle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess it's my turn. I dug characters. Wow. I guess technically it's 30th Storm Shadow, but I still consider all that Pursuit of Cobra because that's what was going on anyway. I dug the Storm Shadow. Actually, I dug both Storm Shadows because that other one that came with the real Manriki Gasari, the chain with the weight on the one end and actually had the same blade thing on the ends. That was an awesome figure. He just looked like literally this is what he would look like a couple days after losing the fight in the movie and then coming back to go after Snake Eyes. He was cool. I dug Shadow Tracker. I dug the freaking, and I didn't buy him for the same reason, is because he's a reuse. Freaking Spirit, because Spirit looked just like freaking Billy, and it was like they really got that off. Zartan. Zartan's awesome. Freaking Alley Viper is awesome. Beachhead is freaking awesome. Duke is awesome. I really liked Hawk because, like you said, he looks like he would be on the, like, not battlefield just like as in the game, but I mean he would literally be on the battlefield fighting alongside his Joes, and that's the way that he always had been written in the comics and such. So it's the perfect look for him. They even made the helmet work with the design. You know what I mean? Like the old school, you know, kind of trooper helmet with the goggles connected to it.
Yeah, and they were like blue tinted goggles too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that. The Iron Grenadiers, of course, are freaking awesome. Shock Troopers are awesome. I really dug the standard Cobra Troopers as well. They looked like even though it was a minor update, they still looked really cool because the parts that they reused were parts that would probably be common in any military. You know what I mean? Like the pants and the sleeves. So essentially they're wearing the same shirts and pants. Like that makes sense. Stalker was freaking awesome. It's just there's too much. It's too much awesome.
There's so much goodness.
Even Snowjob.
I mean, you could literally name any figure and it would be good.
It would be good, yeah. I think the worst figures though, I'll say, like I didn't really like Crazy Legs in Pursuit of Cobra.
That was a pass for me.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they did enough to him to warrant him being part of that. He still felt like a 25th anniversary figure.
Yeah, well, that and you couldn't get his legs together.
Yeah,
that stupid harness.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really like the Cobra Commander, like I mentioned. Who else? I'm trying to think if there's any one of the guys that I have that I didn't really dig. I don't really think there was. Yeah. Yeah, everybody else I think was awesome. Vehicles, I pretty much have the majority of the vehicles that I wanted. The only one that I wanted that I didn't get was the Ghost Hawk 2. I really dig that thing. It'd be nice to get like 2 or 3 of those. It's just finding them for a decent price because people still overcharge for those too.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm kind of interested in those Steel Marauders. You know what I'm talking about? The Deviant, the Cobra Deviant, and the Steel Marauder, those mech suits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
They look kind of like a cross between Ripley's Power Loader and
freaking Mech Warrior.
That machine that they use in friggin' The Matrix.
Oh, yeah, the APUs, yeah.
Yeah, the APUs, yeah.
God,
okay. I was thinking Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar too.
Yeah, that could work too, yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Cobra Fury. For whatever reason, I just still don't have that. I eventually will.
It's a good vehicle, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm awesome jelly.
But
you can fit like 6 people on there. Like,
really?
Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
No, one of the things I'll say too that I wish they would continue is the fact that since there were the line was supposed to continue from the movie, I wish that they would continue to use certain parts the way that they did back then, like with that second Duke, how we had the reactive impact armor, but then they had like jungle gear on top of it.
Yeah,
that was a good idea, man. Like I wanted to see that continue with other characters, or like, you know, even in the vehicles. Like if you're gonna do like Night Force and you're gonna do all that shit, like at least make the core vehicle. If you're gonna remold or make new parts for that specific whatever, at least have the core vehicle still be the same. You know what I mean? Like upgrade shit, but still give us parts that we can recognize, so we could see that somebody did something to the original vehicle to use it in this situation. You know, I don't know if it makes sense. It would feel more like kind of like what they did with Retaliation with the Ninja Cruiser. They took the Vamp 2 and they armored it up. You know what I mean? It's different colors, but then they closed it all up. They should have done the same thing with some of the other vehicles, like maybe change the Rhino and get rid of the helicopter thing in the middle and just make it a bigger carrier for more people. You know what I'm saying? Like an APC, like in Aliens or something. Like I'm just like there's ways they could get more mileage out of those bodies or those vehicles and stuff, and not just completely rehash it. You know? Because and did you guys ever see the unreleased rock and roll for Pursuit of Cobra?
Yeah.
That makes me so sad.
No.
Yeah, man. If you go on, actually, just do a Google search for unreleased rock and roll. He's in the concept case with a whole bunch of figures that we finally have, and somehow he's one of the only ones that they didn't do. They even show you that like the Pursuit of Cobra Duke, the second one in Jungle Gear, had Channing Tatum's head when they made when they first created the figure.
And there was supposed to be like an Arctic Duke as well with a snowboard and everything.
Snowboard, yeah. I think they did him.
Oh wow, he's got like a burly beard and
yeah,
he's got tattoos around his forearm. He looks sick, dude.
Yeah.
Why? See, now they could have at least released it by now.
Exactly.
Why?
instead of blowtorch for the 50th time.
Look at how badass he looks. What the frickin'? Oh my god.
That's what I said. I'm
Wasn't
like,
there-
man.
Wasn't there also a Scarlet figure that they never released too?
Yeah,
that was for Rise of
it was
Cobra. City Strike
it was a
Scarlet.
It was a City Strike Scarlet, which is basically a repainted Resolute figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her design was kind of shitty. Like her face, the way that they had the mask on her face and stuff, I don't think it worked. It would have been cooler if she just had like a balaclava on and her hair was pulled back or something. Then it would make sense. Instead, they gave her this like BS, like gas mask looking shit, and it just didn't look right. And she had these weird like blades sticking off of her arms, and it looked like a toy. Like it didn't look like, you know how Pursuit of Cobra and Rise of Cobra, typically the figures still looked like shit that would be in a movie. Like this didn't look like anything a human being would run around looking like in a movie. You know, not a good movie at least. But her costume.
Did they ever release why they're not releasing that?
Nope.
Did they ever give us cost too much?
No, I just assume.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because I don't think have they reused his body?
For what?
That upper torso, I don't think I've ever seen.
For who? For
rock and roll.
It's Dusty.
Oh, is it?
Almost.
You're right. It is.
Almost the whole figure is Dusty. It's just different colors. Yeah, they. I don't know. I have no idea why they didn't make that figure. They should have. I mean, it wouldn't have been a problem. It wouldn't have been something that, couldn't be done. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. And I've seen some customizers actually make the figures themselves because they saw what parts were used and all that. But it's just annoying, man. It's like, you guys keep dropping the fucking ball. Come on.
and it seems like they're getting further and further away from realism or updated versions of G.I. Joe because, I mean, look at what the club is doing. Ugh.
Ugh.
And then you look at you look at Pursuit of Cobra, and it's like two different. It's like apples and oranges. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't understand, man. I do not understand it.
They should have just kept the Pursuit of Cobra line going. They should never let it go.
Yeah.
I agree.
They could have turned that into its own show.
I know.
With the updated version. That could have been a whole franchise change for them.
I agree.
And they let it go.
Yeah, we didn't have to deal with that Renegades BS.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Like, Renegades would have been a good idea for one episode.
For a movie, just make it into a short movie.
Yeah, we didn't need it to be a whole, 2 seasons worth or a season worth of shit. Like, just, that could have been one freaking episode and we would have been happy. But.
Oh, you know what figure we forgot?
Who?
Freaking Shadow Tracker.
No, I mentioned him. He was one of my first ones.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. No, there's no way I can forget that figure. I was so happy when I got him. We were. That was like the one vacation I think I've ever been on, and we actually we stopped at a Walmart that was way outside of town because we were driving to Michigan, and it just was there. Him and Skydive actually, so we just picked them up. Or he was at a Target. Skydive was at Walmart. But yeah, man, I was geeked, super geeked, because I didn't think I was gonna ever find that figure, But yeah, he's definitely one of the best ones in the line. He's so unique. That's the big thing, is there's a lot of unique designs. I mean, now a lot of shit's been used 50 billion times, but a lot of the figures were unique. The sculpts were unique, and I don't mean just because they were one-offs. I mean, like, they did different things with them that we would never ever see again with any other, Joes after them. But yeah, that line is something else, man. Just the design, the amount of detail, the amount of thought that went into most of the characters. It's just like, you can't beat it. I mean, no one afterwards, no one seems to be thinking or taking the characters seriously enough to pull off this kind of stuff. Everything feels like a toy. I mean, it sounds stupid to say it because they are toys, but that's kind of the beauty of Pursuit of Cobra, is that they didn't feel like toys. They felt like they just felt like fully realized characters, and I mean that's the draw.
Badassery and your fingertips.
Exactly. So true.
Yeah, the way how I like a Pursuit of Cobra, like I felt like that toy line was for the Joe fans who grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
You're 100% right. Yep.
Yeah, because all the designs felt more mature. The tone felt even more mature than the way more mature than the movie. It felt like they actually cared, and they were like, what would it be like if these guys continued, like if they had continued from the 80s to now, what kind of soldiers would they be? And it just looks, I don't know, it was just perfect. It was just perfect. Hopefully at some point we will get that kind of thought in the G.I. Joe line again. I mean, I doubt it. It doesn't look like they're planning on doing it, but if they do, that would be really nice.
Hire Bruce Timm. Hire Bruce Timm.
He did work on the original G.I. Joe cartoon. He is one of the animators on that, too. So, yeah, it would be awesome. It'd be really awesome. It's just weird when we look back on all this stuff and it's like, more. Do something. Do some more.
Just 5 more years of Pursuit of Cobra, please.
I know, right? God, that would be so awesome.
Or just even 5 more waves.
Yeah. Shit, I'd get behind that in a heartbeat. Is there anything that, like, what characters would you guys have wanted to see? Like, that they did?
Tomax and Zaymon.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Wow. Like, beat me to my own thought.
Beat everyone to their own thought.
Yeah. Tomax
He was waiting for that question.
That was awesome. Yeah, for real. That would be really cool.
I'd like to see an updated Major Blood.
Yeah, he needs an update.
Yeah, that's really good. He needs an update badly, yeah.
Yeah, I had to do one myself. Because, yeah, he just seems to be one of those that gets neglected for whatever reason.
Yeah.
What about, let me think.
Trying to think. Who else?
The Baroness. Baroness didn't get an update, which is weird.
Yeah, that's very odd.
Yeah, the 50th anniversary didn't count.
Oh, that was awful. I just shot that review. I really ripped into that 2-pack.
I told you.
Holy shit, it was
With
awful.
freaking Lady Jane and her goat eyes that were going in 2 different directions and shit. Like,
and then the Baroness's face, it looks like she was...
What?
I don't know what's going on with her face.
She looked like
Put
Boy
on
George.
so much blush. Or not blush, foundation. Whatever the hell you call that shit. White, whatever, powder, whatever. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a terrible figure. Like, the body was cool. It's just you needed a new head. Or a better paint job on the head that we got,
Yeah. I would like a Sergeant Slaughter.
Hell yeah.
Who else? I'm trying to think.
What about barbecue?
Barbecue would be cool.
Yeah, we didn't have a barbecue for them. What about...
Shockwave, man. Shockwave would be perfect and cheap to do.
That's true. They always...
really
and it's
cheap.
weird because they always do him. I've never been a big fan of his, but they always do include his character in, like, every upgrade. So it's kind of weird that they didn't upgrade him. Because then they did, like, 2 of them, and one in Rise of Cobra, and then 2 of them in Resolute.
Yeah, they did. But they renamed him Shock Blast.
Yeah. In
was
Rise
lame.
of Cobra,
I don't know why they started to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, because of Transformers.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because they still own the rights to those characters, those names. But yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird. There's a lot of characters they could have done that they didn't. They could have done a
Lady J, man.
or Scarlet. Like there's no
Scarlet.
There was no Pursuit of Cobra Scarlet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bomb Strike.
Doc.
Yeah. That's true. Doc could have used the upgrade. Roadblock. Pursuit.
Roadblock. Yeah.
That'd have been
Heavy
awesome.
duty.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I guess maybe what they were doing is that certain characters like were already fully realized in Rise of Cobra, so they didn't bother redoing them. Because I know there's a Roadblock that is in Rise of Cobra. He comes with one of the emplacement gun sets, like the Range Viper did. And he came in a darker colored version of that second Heavy Duties costume. So you know where he has the one knee pad and the black thing on his arm? You know what I'm talking about? He's not wearing the reactive impact armor. It's just like camo. They did a version of that with Roadblock. So maybe that's why they didn't do another one for Pursuit of Cobra. But then it's weird because then characters like Duke got 2 figures and, I don't know, Snake Eyes got 3 or 4 figures, maybe more. I can't remember. He always gets a gang of figures. But yeah, it's just weird, some of the choices of who got what costume and who got a remake and who didn't. Dr. Mindbender, they should have done a updated Dr. Mindbender.
There's so many Cobras that they should have done. I feel like we got so many Joes in Pursuit of Cobra that we didn't get as many Cobras.
Yeah. I'll say it might depend because a lot of the Cobras were army builders.
True, that's true.
Hazard
they could have done other. They could have dove a little bit deeper because they brought up some new characters like was it Night Fox?
Yeah.
On the Joe side, so they could have brought up some older D-list villains from Cobra, like one I just recently picked up from my friend that lives in my friend Garrett. He sold me the Interrogator for for $25.
What?
I got that for it. Yeah.
Wow.
He lives in Arizona, so he had to ship it to me, but picked that up.
$70 these days.
Yeah, it's like anywhere from 45 to 50, 60 bucks, something like that. Yeah,
that's crazy. He really hooked you up.
He doesn't want this stuff anymore. So.
That's crazy.
Plus, he makes a lot. He makes good money, so he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Wow.
But just characters like that, like Interrogator. You could give these guys updates, much needed updates.
Yeah.
Because Firefly looks awesome. I mean, that's all he needed was an update.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything about Pursuit of Cobra that you guys don't like?
It ended too soon.
They gave up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it was short-lived.
Yeah.
It was like Hasbro was like, "Oh, you guys like this line? You guys really liked it? Well, too bad we're ending it."
Yeah, pretty much. And it sucks because there's so much possibility. They could have retread Cobra Law and gave us like updated, like almost McFarlane-ish looking versions of those guys. Could you imagine that, like an updated freaking Nemesis Enforcer?
Oh my god!
That'd be awesome.
Updated Globulus.
Yeah, man. Like just the way figure like technology and 3D printing and all that shit it's come so far. They could actually get his tail right, and it wouldn't have to be like rubber with a bendy wire in it. The wings would be better, like engineered and lighter, so they wouldn't weigh him down so much. It seems like there's so much they could have done.
Wild Bill, they could have given us an updated Wild Bill.
Well, he was in Rise of Cobra, remember?
Yeah, but I'm saying POC. Oh well.
Yeah, because some characters like that they gave you an update. They didn't even continue with them in Rise of Cobra. I think they probably would have done the same thing, like the version that we got with the helicopter. I mean, the Dragon Hawk. That's probably what they would have done with them. Chaps and combat boots, which is so weird. It sounds uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know. I know it sounds so wrong, right? You got a cowboy.
He would have to be Desert Assault then, I guess. Like the Old West, he's walking around in chaps and cowboy boots.
I don't know, man. Cover Girl. I guess they did her, but she died. They did her in Rise of Cobra, and then she died. So, but she could be one if she survived. They could redesign her costume.
Flint, an official Flint would have been nice.
Not the 50th Flint. Yeah,
not the 50th one. Man, no.
Even though I like that one, I wish that they didn't do the 2 versions. They should have just done the classic colors with the brown or olive drab vamp, because that's the one we all saw. I would have saved them money.
Yeah,
But,
I'm still trying to track down that Flint.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I always see them for like $50 or $60. I'm like, yep, nope.
For just a figure?
Yeah, just the figure.
Yes.
It was weird when that 2-pack dropped. They were selling the vamp for $50 on its own, and I'm like, you could just buy that same vamp, but not from that set, for like $20. Why would you pay $50 because it came from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set?
Which is bullshit. It's just a name.
Yeah, well, because like it doesn't really do anything differently. It doesn't really. It's not even rare. You just made it even less rare because you took an old, easily accessible vehicle and you put it in a 2-pack with like new stuff that's kind of old also. Like it's so weird, you know. But I can't wait to hear the justifications in the comments because they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, well, hey, douchebag with the comment. Why don't you take your comment, put it back in the back of your pocket, sit down, fart, and shut the fuck up.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. It's just weird. Hopefully because I know they said they were trying to do some things differently with this new set, even though a lot of these figures, they're kind of underwhelming, and a lot of them are going to be really hard to find, despite being underwhelming figures. I hope that they get their act together as like in their distribution and in how they handle just what sets are available where and pricing for these sets. And maybe if they're available everywhere around the same time, we won't run into the issues that we ran into with Pursuit of Cobra, because it was impossible to find certain things with Pursuit of Cobra. I mean, like half of it I never saw in stores. You know, like I had to order certain figures. I mean, the majority I found in stores, but a good chunk of it, especially vehicles, I never saw in stores. And then
same here.
The 30th anniversary shit came out, and it was everywhere. But like, there was a whole like 2 or 3 waves that I never saw in the store for Pursuit of Cobra, which should never be, you know. And now it's going to be even weirder because Toys R Us will be the only place that you're going to find Joe stuff. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But I don't know. Anything else to add? I mean, we kind of ran through everything, just about.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, you can't go wrong with Pursuit of Cobra.
Yeah, it's true. Almost every figure was almost every figure was flawless. Little things.
Well, yeah, even the quality control was good.
I know.
Like
right?
I haven't had one issue with one Pursuit of Cobra figure or vehicle.
That's true. I'm trying to think if I ever had it. I don't think I did either.
But then what baffles me is that you look at the 50th anniversary line, which should be better, and it's worse.
Yeah,
some of the plastics are really cheap in those figures.
Yeah, really gummy and bendy, and like some of them didn't hold paint right, which makes you think they didn't prime the figures before they painted them. Like my Danger at the Docks Flint, he's like real ashy around his forearms. They're like, and the gloves are real jacked up. Like it looks like somebody dipped his hands in turpentine or something. Like it's really bad. It's real bad. I'm gonna have to get new hands or something from Marauders to, fix that.
Yeah, I had to paint over mine.
Yeah, and then he has like an Asian skin tone. Like he's got like this tannish, like a yellowish tannish color to his skin, which doesn't match any of the other versions of Flint, which is strange. It's like why this color? And it's so much paint. That's the only reason why it's like super noticeable. It's like globbed on his face. So his face sculpt just looks really weird. And then you put him next to the Resolute figure, which is the same head sculpt, and you see all this detail on the Resolute one. And it's like, where is all that on this guy, I don't know what they were thinking. It's a lot
to
of
me,
weird.
I still really like the Hall of Heroes Flint.
Yeah, me too.
It's got the better hands. It's the face is.
It's still weird.
All right.
It's still weird.
It's still a little long.
Yeah.
Why the long face? But at least it's affordable and it looks like Flint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's It's crazy when that's one of the things we have to look out for, is that a simple figure like that is just not affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, scalpers, man. We need to bring back Scalper Asshole of the Week.
I know, I do.
Or
I've done
like,
it in so long.
like Scalper Patrol or something. We need to do that. And we can do it for Joe stuff too, especially that way we can give people a heads up. I mean,
Oh yeah, what really pisses me off is when I see fucking Pursuit of Cobra vehicle and it's got a raw sticker on for $11, and then he's
they're selling it for like
selling
60.
it for $50. Fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Okay, hang on one second. I'll be right back. I just gotta let my.
But yeah, guys, I think anything that you guys want to add before we close up?
Probably another thing that was great about the Rise of Cobra line, not the Rise of Cobra, Pursuit of Cobra, was the fact that they were at the right price.
Yeah, $7 or $8.
Yeah, they're $7-8, and you got your money's worth.
Oh yeah. It's so weird, you know, when you think back to it. Because I remember we were talking about this a while back. It might have been on the first Joe Talk. Jesus Christ, dog. We were talking about like finding them in the store and finding them at that price. It's pretty crazy. It would be nice if that kind of shit happened again, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it'd have to be at least $9 or $10, but you know, that would be awesome. Jesus Christ. What is the problem, dog? He's freaking out. I wonder if he's freaking out because he can hear us. But yeah, man, the price, you're right. The price was perfect. It's strange. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how, like, Marauders can sell independently made figures for $11. But then G.I. Joes always cost more. And the G.I. Joes aren't even made to the same quality as the Marauders stuff. And they own the factories. They've been doing this forever. How is it that they can't match that level of quality? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. You guys still there?
Oh, I thought you were going to continue on.
Nah, I'm just waiting for see what anyone else has to say. I don't want to. I could run on and on and on. I don't want to be. I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want to steal everyone's thunder.
Well, one thing I was going to mention. I don't know if this happened for anyone in their towns, but sometime last year at most Toys R Us, some stores like they had like this random like leftover stock.
Yeah.
Pursuit of Cobra figures that just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I saw like Jungle Viper. I saw General Hawk, Blowtorch, of course.
That was embarrassing because I remember I saw that the single card figure next to the 2-pack and was like, "Wow, Hasbro, you fucked up."
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes none whatsoever. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm trying to think of who else I saw because I did see another figure. Who was the other figure I saw?
There was General Hawk.
Yeah, I saw Hawk.
The Cobra Commander.
Probably Cobra Commander. Yeah, those figures like they couldn't pay people to buy those figures because they were pretty bad. Like I don't know. I just didn't like any of the joints on the way the Cobra Commander figure was. I didn't like the General. I love the General Hawk figure. Blowtorch I'm pretty sure Blowtorch is the 25th anniversary figure. It is. They didn't even change the paint, nothing. It's the exact same fucking figure. So I was like, I'm good. And then I think I have 2 Jungle Vipers. You know what I did see? They had some Retaliation stuff left over. Because every now and then I'll see Night Vipers, and I'll see some Storm Shadows, like the concept Storm Shadow. I see like a bunch of them, and that first Roadblock, I'll see him just peg warming like a motherfucker, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend to be interested. I should have picked one of them up though, because we got the Sergeant Slaughter kit that one of these customizers made on he's selling on eBay, where he has like the head, the hat, the hands, the baton, the white belt, and the duffel bag. And you could just it's like a conversion kit. You can just take the hands. Yeah.
How much does that cost?
It was like 20, 25, $20, something like that.
Wow, man, look into that.
Yeah. And it works with like a bunch of figures. I mean, you could put it on bench press's body. You could put it on rock block, like the Battle Kata rock block if you have them. You could put them on the Ultimate rock block if you have them. Because he made his skin tone a little bit darker so that it would match those figures. So it's definitely a good idea, you know. So you don't have to pay $100 and something, $50 something, you know, $200 and something for Sergeant Slaughter. That doesn't look like the one in the cartoon, you know, with all the muscles and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I can't wait to when I get him. I'm definitely gonna do the review for him soon. It should be within the next week or so. But yeah, I was geeked about that. We had been looking at it for a long time. Then it disappeared, and then it popped back up, and we're like, shit, we need to jump on this before it disappears again. So, yeah, it's worth it. There's some cool stuff out there. It's just a shame that so many fans have to do the work themselves because Hasbro is not savvy enough to take advantage of these things that are like, it's a deal. It's like a sure thing. They would make money hand over fist if they just capitalize off of the shit that people actually want. But I don't know. So, what do you guys want to talk about next time?
Joe versus.
Joe versus? Like independent. You're Joe
sure.
versus.
Yeah, we can all share that. You know, our own.
Okay.
Like, what do you guys use the Rock in your Joe verse?
Oh, you mean like not? You're talking about like how we use the Joes, the existing Joes, like our own
original characters. Your Fenris company.
Oh, I use him as the Rock, Sergeant Rock. That's what I call him.
Sergeant Rock. I don't own a Rock figure yet, and the one Rock I do have actually on the way is going to turn into Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. So I was just telling him about that. Yeah. At first I was going to make him in the big boa. Then, well, no. When I first got him, I thought that he would be a cool replacement for Roadblock. He could be my standard Roadblock. And then I got the Resolute Roadblock, and I was like, yeah, fuck that toy. This is Roadblock. And then I was like, you know what I'll do is maybe I'll just have, like, we could have, like, a story where, because I always like the idea of legacy where you have, like, a character that, you know, you've been this character for however long, and then you had the code name for however long, and then when you decide to leave, you pass it down, and this is the next guy. And then I was thinking about how, like, Sergeant Slaughter managed to become a Joe. Why not just make The Rock a Joe? You know what I mean? Like, give him a little bit of a different background, you know, something that would lend itself to, you know, you can put military in there somewhere and just, there you go. And then I was like, maybe I should make him be like Big Boa undercover in the Joes. So all I would need is a different helmet so that when he reveals himself, I can actually put that helmet on him. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do with him.
Oh.
What do you do with them?
I made him a fraud in my Joe verse. like his acting career, like, shat. Like, it went downhill. And G.I. Joe steps in and says, how would you like to act again? So he's just on television, you know, doing public service announcements. I missed those from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, those were cool.
Yeah, I made him, you know, like, hey, teamwork, you know, don't eat candy, eat apples and oranges. That's what I made for the like, he's not in the field because
he's a spokesperson.
Yeah,
he's a fraud.
That's awesome.
Now that's what I like to hear. If you're gonna use the Rock, that's how you use him. Fucking can't stand the Rock.
That is awesome.
He even comes in and fucks up pro wrestling now. I can't stand it. Just go away. Go into obscurity, please. Just go away.
Oh my god, that is such an awesome way to use him, though. What about you, Kyle? Do you have them?
Yeah, I have those both first. I have the Battle Kata one, which I turned into Gung Ho.
Oh yeah,
nice.
What I did was I took the 50. I swapped the arms and the head, gave a different vest, and that was my version of Gung Ho.
That's awesome. That's all these creative ways to use that figure.
Not use the rock.
Yeah, it just seems weird. Like, it felt like he was trying too hard to be like the ultimate G.I. Joe character, and he didn't really fit, you know? He threw it all off. Like the whole battle kata weapon system, it was like, yeah, that's a little much, guys. Just a little bit much. But yeah, I guess we could talk about Joe versus in the next episode. Anything else? Or you want to just play it by ear like we normally do?
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, it seems to work for us, so we could do that.
Yeah, like, I mean, we have, like, what, 4 months until 50th anniversary drop? Or more Joe figures drop?
November,
Shooter.
Yeah.
Shooter, guys. Shooter.
Yeah, I know, right? So necessary.
I think I still might pick up Tombstone and just put the head on a different body.
Get that dude figure, guys.
The Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander, you've got to listen to me. You don't have the right recipe for the jello pudding. I got to tell you the right recipe. They go from there, it's like, who hired this fuck?
Oh my god. Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to those new 50th figures, man. It would be really awesome to see, you know, if they live up to the hype. Like, they look like they could be really quality, and if they are, then that'll be awesome. If not, it'll be really sad. Because we're all, like, really geeked, and we're waiting for them, and it's like, you know, don't fail us. Please, don't fail us.
And then, what next? The 35th anniversary next year, they probably won't do anything for that.
Yeah,
I feel like they have to do something.
They won't. They won't.
Yeah, I think we'll get a little bit. Maybe we'll get a little bit more than we got this year.
That'd be nice.
At least give us a new character, please.
Or at least
Another
give us an
new
animated series.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, give us a series. I mean, at least a series will help a new line sprout, possibly. I'd rather have a series than anything, I guess.
You should have made, like, a Netflix original series for G.I. Joe, like they're doing with Voltron right now.
That would
Yeah.
have been awesome. It would have made a lot of sense, too.
It would at least survive.
Exactly.
Like most people I know these days don't even have cable anymore. We all, like, have, like, apps,
Yeah.
like Netflix or Hulu.
Or a fucking Fire Stick.
Yeah, fine.
So you don't have to waste your money. That freaking Amazon, I think it's Amazon, right? The Amazon Fire Stick. Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about all that shit. Your pay-per-view is built in. You don't even have to worry about it. Like that, I don't even understand how we went so long without having that shit. All you need is Google Chrome and a Fire Stick, and you're good.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I guess that's it for us, guys. Like, we've covered everything. I guess next week we'll try and talk about, or next time, I shouldn't say next week. Next time we'll try and meet up and talk about Joe versus, man. Like, we can talk about crafting them and what we do, how we use the existing Joes, like what we do in our own little worlds with them. And then, you know, go into more detail about our original characters, you know. It'll be cool to hear what you guys do, because everybody's heard my side and what I do with my stuff, but people
like I told Strydent already, it's like in my Joe verse, we grab everything of the history of the Joes that is respected, but at the same time shat on all over it. Just letting you guys know. Maybe you guys like the idea, maybe not. I don't know.
Hey, it's your Joe verse. You're the one that's playing in it. You know what I mean? So it's whatever works for you.
As long as it's not Act of Valor, you know, like Hawk Down.
Yeah, exactly. And Act of Valor was a good movie for action and stuff. I mean, the acting was bad, but I mean, it's an action film, so we kind of want to see the real soldiers do their thing in a movie, which was pretty awesome. Seeing them shred up vehicles with the freaking Gatling guns and stuff, like, it was crazy. But yeah, that's not G.I. Joe. That's definitely.
And like I said in the very first Joe talk, you know, if you're gonna make your Joe-verse like that, no crossover soon. I can't promise you a crossover.
Yeah, that's one thing we could talk about too, because I want to play around with some ideas as far as how to include characters from other people's Joe verses in any of the shorts that I happen to do, because there's a couple people that have asked me about that, and I'm trying to think of a good way to do it. Either they can
Multiverse.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like it could be a multiverse thing, or it could just be like one dude's in Canada, so maybe the Canadian arm of the team is, his character, or his characters, and if he could show me what they look like, I could make my own versions of those guys and put them in the shorts or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to play around with ideas with how to work that stuff. But we got time. We'll figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just need the right editing software, props, and everything to make a series, a stop-motion series or something.
I don't have the time for stop motion at all. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to
That's
be.
like 50 years' work or whatever.
Yeah. I definitely don't have the time for that shit. I wanted to, but I just can't. So, yeah, doing these animatics or doing it where there's a little bit of movement and a lot of stills, that's the best I can do right now. But it still gets the point across. And I'm trying to, the next one will be longer than the first one. The first one was just like, okay, finally, I got to let you guys know I'm actually doing something. So, here you go. It's here. But, yeah, I guess that's it. That is it for us. We will be back probably next month with another Joe Talk.
Next week.
Yo, Joe.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
You too.
So that's it for us, guys. You've been great. Peace outside.
See ya.
Catch you later.